Pharmacy, Coimbatore Limited.
Namaskaram, everyone. A warm welcome to the 83rd Foundation Day of the Aryavaidya Pharmacy, Coimbatore Limited. Since its incorporation in 1943, the Aryavaidya Pharmacy, Coimbatore Limited has been the torch bearers of spreading the Coimbatore Limited.
Good morning, all. Commencing this blessed occasion by seeking the blessings of Lord Dhanvantari, our founder Aryavaidyan P.V. Ramavariyar, and most beloved mentor Padma Shri Dr. P.R. Krishna Kumarji, may I request our distinguished guest Dr. S. Gopakumar sir, Dr. Pavana ma'am, Dr. Kritika ma'am, MD Sri Devidas Varya sir, and Executive Director Sri Krishnadas Varya sir to come forward for lighting the lamp.
Everyone please rise up for the prayer.
गजाननं भूतगणादि सेवितं कपित्तजम्बो फलसारभक्षितम् उमासुदम् शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजं नमामि विघ्नेश्वर पादपङ्कजम्.
Thank you, everyone. Now I would like to invite Dr. Karthik Krishnan, Vice President AVP, for the welcome address. Sir, please.
Namaskaram, ladies and gentlemen, dignitaries in the dais. So when we look at certain practices of ancient India, there is a very interesting practice that you do when you beget a baby. Okay, when a woman is expecting a baby, there is this practice of doing a sankalpa for having a very good baby. You will get to see a lot of examples of those in our epics, Ramayana and Mahabharata. For example, when Kunti was getting her baby, she prayed to Lord Surya and he blessed her saying, Shuravantam prasuyataha, okay? Which means, may you be blessed with children who are ferocious, who are great warriors. Okay? Hence, Pandavas were born. So you know that story. Pandavas were ferocious warriors. But decades later, when Draupadi was pregnant and was expecting a baby, Kunti blessed Draupadi, saying that, not Shuravandam Prasuyada, she said, because my children were very ferocious fighters, but they were very unlucky. They lost the kingdom. They even lost all their wealth. They had to go in exile. So I will bless you, Bhagyavantam Prasuyataha. Okay, Bhagyavantam Prasuyataha. May your children be lucky. Therefore, Draupadi's children got the country. You know, Pandavas fought and they got the Hastinapuri, and Draupadi's children got the country. And a similar example is there in Ramayana also. When Kausalya was expecting, she prayed to Lord Vishnu, let my son be Jagatananda Karaka. My son be somebody who bring joy to the whole world. Then Vishnu said, Mother, there is nobody in this world who can bring joy to the entire world other than me. So I will come and be your baby. And thus Sri Rama was born as an avatar of Vishnu. So there is this interesting kirtana by Tyagaraja Swami, Jagadananda Karaka in Natya Ragam. You must have heard that. So I'm inclined to think in 1940s when Sri P.V. Rama Warrior was expecting a baby, the Arya Vaidya pharmacy, I'm inclined to think he also envisaged a baby who is Jagadananda Karaka. Because what started off as a light of wisdom in Trichy Road in 1940 has now become a beacon of hope and healing decades later. Ladies and gentlemen, let me all welcome to the foundation day of the Arya Vaidya pharmacy. This is a celebration of our past, a day to recommit ourselves to our ethos and our values of perpetual quality and our unwavering commitment to Ayurveda. As such, let me welcome my MD Sri Devidas Warrior, who has been our strong supporter, our host. Let me also welcome my personal pride and my guru, Dr. S. Gopakumar. now the Registrar of Kerala University of Health Sciences. Let me also welcome the Executive Director of the AVP Group, Sri Krishnadas Warrior. And let me also welcome Dr. Pavana Jayaram, who is the key resource person for the day, and she will be delivering a speech on Koshta later. So Dr. Gopakumar will be delivering the Arya Vaidya Sri P.V. Rama Warrior commemorative speech today. And Dr. Pavana Jayaram will be delivering a speech on Koshta later this day. Let me also welcome each and everybody of the AVP family to this wonderful day, this auspicious day. It is not the walls or the buildings that make an organization, it is the people that make the organization. We have always maintained so. So, welcome all of you to the Foundation Day. Namaste.
Today, AVP is ably led by Sri C. Devidas Varya, grandson of Sri Rama Varya and son of Sri P.V. Chandrasekhara Varya, and a third generation steward of this visionary legacy. Since joining AVP 3 decades ago in 1993, alongside our mentor Krishna Kumarji, he has helped the organization scale new heights, balancing modern business practices with Ayurvedic values. Under his leadership, AVP has expanded its manufacturing capabilities, health services, research, and digital health platforms globally. Sir, let me take this opportunity to invite you to deliver the presidential address.
Today, colleague, just now, Dr. Karthik, I think, started off with a very auspicious chant or mantra. from everywhere without having our own heritage to be blown off. And what so what a forethought, what a vision, and this article was published in 1973. So you can imagine the vision the great the founder of AVP had, and all his patrons and supporting system had. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Professor Dr. S. Gopakumar have always been an inseparable part of AVP's journey. For over 2 decades, he has been a prominent presence in our educational programs, mentoring, guiding, and inspiring generations of Ayurvedic scholars. His commitment to the principles of Ayurveda and to the cause of authentic Ayurvedic education has made him a valued and respected figure within the Ayurveda fraternity. A distinguished academician, Dr. Gopakumar holds a dual MD and PhD and has been honored with numerous accolades from the state government, Ministry of Ayush, and Kerala University of Health Sciences. His present position as Registrar of Kerala University of Health Science is a testament to his enduring contribution to Ayurveda and its future. We wholeheartedly invite you to deliver the commemorative speech honoring the legacy of Aryaveda Sri Padma Rama Warrior.
Namaskaram. Most respected family members of AVP, dear doctors, dear students, dear friends. When we open Ashtanga Hridayam, in the very initial chapters, there is a question, what is Satvritam, or what is Sadacharam, or what is the essential component of Sadacharam? The great Vagbada gives the perfect answer by telling, Ardra Sandhanada Tyaga Kayavak Chedasam Damaha Swartha Buddhi Pararteshu Paryaptam Idi Sadvardam. I think my young generation remember this sloga. Swartha Buddhi Pararteshu Paryaptam Idi Sadvardam. You need not do very much things. You need not go to the extreme activities. When you feel that you are selfish for other people, that is the ultimate Sadvrta. When you feel that you are selfish, you are more bothered about others. Swartha Buddhi Pararteshu Paryaptam Idi Sadvardam. In 1908, we could see the birth of such an eminent star who identified that his life responsibility is not just concentrating his own personal demands. He wants to establish a kingdom. I used to call it as a kingdom which will be serving for the humanity years and years even after his demise. That is the story, that is the history of Aryavaidyan P.V. Rama Warrior. How I can talk like this in front of such esteemed audience? Because we receive the energy from such inspirational sources. I always believe that I am studying Ayurveda in first BA MS. Now when we study Ayurveda in first BA MS, nobody will ask questions to us. Even though I have taken 2 PGs and PhD and they are in the field of Ayurvedic teaching for the last 25 years, I always feel that I am a learning student. Why? Because such dynamic healers are there before us. Such dynamic masters are before us who had found that Ayurveda is not a simple science of medical prescription. Ayurveda is a science of life science. How to learn the life, how to live the life, that is the essential component of Ayurveda. We know Aryavaidyan P.V. Rama Warrior, when he established AVP in 1940s, before that he was learning Ayurveda under the guidance of we all respect P.S. Vaidar sir at Kottakkal. And after completing his high school education, we can imagine in the pre-independent scenario, people will be selecting Indian sciences. He opted learning Ayurveda under the Gurukula system, and whatever knowledge he earned, by 1930 he was ready to serve it. He was ready to rededicate it for the public. In 1943, when AVP was established, I think the fundamental motto itself was to propagate Ayurveda with a good spirit. We know Ayurveda is a science which is being propagated everywhere, every corner of the world, but the essential component of Ayurveda is humanity. Ardra Sandhanada Tyagaha Kayavak Chedasamdama. That is the fundamental principle of Ayurveda. Actually, when we talk Ayurveda, I always feel that Ayurveda has a unique quality to control the disciples who are learning Ayurveda. Or Ayurveda will remodulate the disciples for the benefit of Ayurveda. I think Ayurveda is not learned from textbooks. Ayurveda is not learned from any sloga. Ayurveda is just like a mother. It is my personal feeling. I always feel Ayurveda as my mother, because the mother will be having the vision how their children should grow. Just like dear Karthik told about Kundi and Draupadi, the mothers will be having an idea how their children should grow. I think Ayurveda was the real mother to Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar sir, and Ayurveda very well know my son how he should study Ayurveda, how he should progress further, how he should serve me. So that is the essential thing of Ayurveda. Reverse also there. When we study Ayurveda, naturally we will feel what we have to do for our mother, that is Ayurveda. So actually a true Guru Shishya Bandha, somebody is learning Ayurveda and somebody is practicing Ayurveda, there is a mother-child relationship, Madhur-Putra Bandha, that always I feel. Because the mother only know what is the power of the child, mother only know what is the weakness of the child, mother only know the strength of the child. Accordingly the mother will nurture, accordingly the mother will guide the children, by which they will get momentum, they will get the required acceleration to do the karma by propagating Ayurveda. We very well know Ayurveda is a medical science which is serving every component. The ultimate component of one health is originated from Ayurveda only. Nowadays people talk much about one earth and one health. Ayurveda told the concept centuries back by telling Vasudhaiva Kudumbagam, Atmanameva Manyaram Kartaram Sukhadukkayo. You are responsible, your all activity, and they are telling Atmavat Sadadam Pashyet Kida Pipiligam. When we go through the life history of Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar, we can see the concept of Atmavas Sadadam Pashyet Kida Pipiligam. Respect everything, Chedana Drivya, Achedana Drivya, whatever, as equivalent to you. That was the wonderful dynamic principle he practiced from the Mother Ayurveda. That is why we could see the birth of Ayurveda pharmacy here. Being a humble student of Ayurveda, I think more than 50 times I had visited this campus for different program. And we can see the genetic connection from Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar sir to Padmasri P.R. Krishnakumar sir, and the same thing, the same target, the same objective of propagating Ayurveda with the classical essence and classical fragrance was there. Wherever I go outside Kerala, and when we talk about a Gurukul, where Ayurveda is really propagated with the true spirit, I know everyone will be having a single answer, that is AVP. I am proud to tell that when we go for different types of CMEs, Karthik may be knowing, we are going with different parts of India, and whenever we talk about Ayurveda in a natural environment, learning Ayurveda in a natural environment, that is always happening here. It is not a wish. This is not an ichha. This is the actual karma occurring here. And this karma of propagating Ayurveda, learning Ayurveda, is the product of the wisdom of Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar sir. That is what I am telling. When we talk about the visionaries, when we talk about the leaders, when we talk about the people who are going to change the entire concept, they will be having their own vision, they will be having their own mission, they will be having their own defined activity protocol. But you know, it is very difficult to trespass all the obstacles of the time factor. Kaladivarti. It should be passing every obstruction from the time factor, and that is what happened with Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar sir. He learned Ayurveda. As per my limited knowledge, I understand that he learned Ayurveda in terms of its diagnostic level and in terms of its management level. Rogamado Parisheda Tadanandaram Aushadam. Until and unless you are not understanding the dynamic mechanism of disease production, you are not going to be a teacher. Again I am going to Charaka Samhita, where Charaka beautifully tells who is a successful Vaidya. Who can be a successful Vaidya? Beautifully he is telling, Jnana Buddhi Pradibena Yona Vishyadi Yogivat Adurasya Andaratmanam Nasa Rogam Chigilsthadi. How beautifully they are telling. You can procure the degrees, you can have multiple PGs, you can have a very good marks in your mark list and degrees, but until and unless, that is the criteria, until and unless you are not entering into the inner consciousness of your patient, you are not going to be a Vaidya. So a real Vaidya should be able to enter into the inner consciousness of your patient, his patient, with the tool called Jnana Buddhi. And that Jnana Buddhi is the Deepa. That Jnana Buddhi is the Deepa light, and which will be helping the physician to identify what is the real mechanism of disease. I identify that when he was learning Ayurveda in 1930s, he identified that what can be the roga to the Ayurveda society, what can be the roga to a person. That is an ordinary thought for him. What can be the possible diseases, what can be the possible sampraptis of the Ayurveda as a science when it is practiced in the Kali Yuga. He identified it. That is why Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar sir has given prime priority in Ayurvedic learning, Ayurvedic training and Ayurvedic research. We very well know we are supposed to cure the diseases. We are supposed to cure the diseases using the valuable tools of Ayurveda, but sometimes the science may get certain ama. The science may get certain ama. We very well know due to the Agandu factors, due to the external factors, our science of Ayurveda also got certain amount of avarana. Now I am using the Ayurvedic words only to describe about the Ayurveda, and certain avarana was there. What is avarana? Avarano margasya rodha. In the progress of development, there are certain obstacles. There are certain obstructions. How to remove this avarana of science of Ayurveda? That was a great thought. Normally when we ordinary Vaidyas think about the disease of the normal patients, normal rogi, they thought about the system. They have thought about the system, how the problems faced by Ayurvedic science can be corrected, and when Ayurveda can be fine-tuned to such a level that it will become a global healing system. And that activity, that is what I am telling, such type of activities only makes people different. And I am telling you, people act differently, people think differently, and that is why they are called the ultimate winners. And no doubt that we can see Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar sir in 1930 to 1943 when he was learning Ayurveda and when he was trying to establish this big kingdom of Ayurveda pharmacy, was understanding all these things using his Jnana Buddhi. That is what I am telling. So when Ayurveda, being the mother, taught his son Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar, Ayurveda served Jnana Buddhi to him. Ayurveda served Jnana Buddhi to him, or he was expecting the Jnana Buddhi from the mother, and that is why he identified that there is the need of a system, there is need of a platform where the exchange of knowledge will be always possible day and night. When I visit here often, when Krishna Kumarji was here, in the late evening, we used to sit in front of the Dhanvantari temple, and I remember once he told, I want Gopakumar always here should be Dhuba, Deepa, Homa. Today morning when I visited the temple, I was just feeling that he is in front of me telling the same thing. Deepa, Dhuba, Homa, everything should be there, and he is telling this is not for the physical spirituality. This is for real Atma Shuddhi. What he is telling, this is for the real Atma Shuddhi. And what is Atma? People may interpret Atma in different way, but to a For a true Ayurvedic Vaidya, Sarva Jnanadikaranatvam Atmanaha Lakshanam. When you want to see what is the real problem in your patient, you often fail to identify what is your personal problem. Roga, Rogi Sambandham, Roga, Rogi Sambandham and Rogi Vaidya Sambandham, Vaidya often fail to identify what is his problem. What is his avarana in treating the patient? That is what is called Jnana Buddhi. I always respect when you are gaining the Jnanam, when you are gaining the Vijnanam, that will ultimately take to Anandam. Jagadaha Paramananda Karanam, again told in the morning in the welcome address, when you feel that there is real Jnanam, from the Jnanamaya Kosha to Vijnanamaya Kosha, I can be happy with a very beautiful food. I can be happy with a little quantity of money, but the ultimate Ananda which is generated, the ultimate Ananda which is created from the Jnanam, that will be long lasting and that will be never attacked by any Agni Mandya. So Aryavaidian P.V. Ramavariyars are identified that there should not be any Agni Mandya in the science of Ayurveda. So he always made every possible attempt to keep the Agni, keep the Jnana Agni, keep the Karma Agni active. Not only in the Koshta, but in the Madhyama Roga Marga and Shakha. There will be a talk about the Koshta in the later. So I always feel that when we talk about Ayurveda, we should be the real physicians to treat the problems of Ayurveda. It is not due to the system of Ayurveda, it is due to the practice of Ayurveda. He identified it quite earlier. That is why Ayurveda Trust was established. And we can see numerous research projects after Ramavariyar sir and with the dynamic leadership of Krishna Kumarji, we could see very positive research works, even in collaboration with the WHO, which served that Ayurveda is a science with objective parameters. Ayurveda has got subjective parameters and Ayurveda has got objective parameters. So we could see, we could prove the world that this is a science to be practiced with scientific temperament. That is what I am telling, scientific temperament. You have to always maintain the confidence in Ayurveda by learning the classical Ayurveda. I always remember a beautiful sloga again by Charaga. I can see the real researcher of Charaga in that sloga. Vidya Vidarka Vijnanam Smriti Tatparadaha Kriya Yasyide Shadgunas Tasya Na Sadhyamadivartade. I think most of you are familiar with the concept. The 6 components of an essential researcher, sir. That time there, when Charaga wrote this sloga, there was no WHO. There was no research body. There was no CSIR, ICMR. He beautifully told, the same Charaga who told about Jivatma and Paramatma told the essential components of researcher. What is that? Vidya. You should have the primary education, the primary jnana. Vidya Vitarkam. From Vidya to Vitarkam, the next level of debating and analyzing. Never accept anything blindly. I always tell my students to ask questions. There are enough answers in the textbook, there are enough answers in the Vyakhyana, there are enough answers in the publication, but there are more questions to be asked based on your clinical observation. That is Vitarkam. From the level of Vidya to Vitarkam, then Vijnanam, Vishesha Jnanam Vijnanam, Vidya, Vitarka, Vijnana, Smriti, Samskara Janyam Jnanam Smriti. What is Smriti? We learned so many things after the COVID. COVID was a samskara for us. COVID was a real test of problem with us, and we learned so many things. We learned so many things, and that is called Smriti, Shastra Smriti. Vidya, Vitarka, Vijnanam, Smriti, Tatparata. Tatparata means the real attitude and aptitude. You should have both attitude and aptitude. Only with the 2 wings of attitude and aptitude, you can fly to the high altitudes. That is what I always tell to my students. My students never forget, you should have 2 strong, powerful wings. The attitude, positive attitude, and the real clinical aptitude, which will take you to the highest level of Ayurvedic altitude. So that is called Tatparada, the interest, the power, the jijnasa, the curiosity. That is what I am telling. And Kriya, Vidya, Vitarka, Vijnana, Smriti, Tatparada, Kriya. Kriya means all these tatparada, attitude, vijnana, vitarka should be implemented for a particular action. That action is called treatment, that action is called a clinical trial, and that action is called a combined effort by which you are going to prove something or you are going to do something which you are going to disprove something. So that is Kriya. So my dear students, once you possess all these 6 components, you will be the best researcher, and the best researcher is the person who is finding solution to the existing problems. That is what I am telling. Once again, I will tell you the slogan. Being a teacher, at the end of my speech, I will ask you this slogan. Okay? So nobody will be permitted to escape through the hall if you are not telling the answer. Vidya, Vitarka, Vijnanam, Smriti, Tatparadaha, Kriya, Yasyaide Shadgunas Tasya Na Sadhyamadhivartate. See, he is telling, if you are having the combination of all these 6 things, there is nothing impossible for him. Now you see the slogan written centuries back. The slogan written centuries back, exactly Aryavaidyan P.V. Ramavariyar identified it and implemented it. That is why this AVP is serving as a platform of creating Vidya, propagating Vidya, Vidarka, Smriti, Tatparada, research, clinical trial, activity, software development, and finally all these Kriyas are given to the entire world for Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. That is the vision of a leader. It was not for AVP, it was not for some people, it was not for any material thing, it was for the entire world. We always tell Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Vasudhaiva Kudumbakam. That is what I am telling. So when we remember Aryavaidyan P.V. Ramavariyar sir, we remember his birth purpose, we remember his family, we remember how he studied Ayurveda, under the Gurukula system, under P.S. Warrior sir, and he served in Kottakkal. He studied the fundamentals of Ayurveda, fundamentals of medicine, manufacturing of Ayurveda, diagnosis of Ayurveda. Then he identified that he should establish a kingdom of Ayurveda where his vision, his dreams can be practiced. He was in search of a public lab. I used to tell he was in search of a public lab where he can put all the dreams in, not in the test tube. He never put experiment in the test tube. He put the experiments in the real lab that is called life. That is why the inception of establishment of AVP happened in 1943. Then we can see the growths. We can see the growth, different phases and different way. Even in pre-independent scenario, when there was not much support, when there is no Ayush department, when there was not that much of support from the government and other officials, he fought for a purpose. We can see that he fought for a purpose with the minimum resource. I think with the minimum money only he came to AVP. I have read somewhere with the minimum money only he came to Coimbatore, but he has a treasure in his hand. He has a treasure. He doesn't have a purse. He may not be having a bank account, but he has a treasure, that is the wonderful dynamic knowledge of Indian science, Ayurveda. So how to use the treasure in the positive way, that is what we witness in the 83rd Founders Day. Let us salute to his visionary thoughts and actions. See, every time Vicharam and the Karmam are connected. When you develop the good vichara, when you develop the good thoughts, naturally they will go to the good karma. I always respect the Sattvika gunas told by Vagbada. And we can see when Acharya Vagbada is telling the properties of Sattva guna, Sattvigam Shaujamastikyam Shuklavatma Rujirmadi. Shuklavatma Rujirmadi. The people who are having Sattva guna will be having a taste to always travel through the good roads. They will be never getting any Vimarga Gamana. That is what I am telling. I think you know what is Vimarga Gamana. When you are having a target in your mind, when you are having a defined objective in your mind, you will select a journey and you will be having a wonderful dynamic path where you will never deviate. And that is the correct path by which you are doing the activity. I will tell that Aryavaidyan P.V. Ramavariyar sir selected the right path. There was no Srodoroda in front of him. And even though if there was a Srodoroda, he has the internal fire. the Jnanagni by which the Srodoroda was corrected and repaired, and he established himself as the Anilomana Purusha in Ayurveda. I always tell you that we talk about a Dravya called Anilomana Dravya. I think students are knowing. What is Anilomana Dravya? I think Ayurvedic students are here. Yes or not? Haridaka is an Anilomana Dravya. Very good. But what is Anilomana Dravya? What does Anilomana Dravya do in the system? Anybody? A special prize will be there. Yes? Somebody from the students. I told you I am also a first year BA student. So you are right. Kritva pagam malanam yet fitva bendham adhonayet tacha anilomanam nyayam yatha prokta haridagi. Sir, anilomana is a wonderful pharmacological action in Ayurveda wherever there is an obstruction in the internal system, in the internal channel, the drug will remove the block. The drug will digest the block and it will establish the normal movement of the superpower Vayu in the body. So wherever there is a block in any system, a block in the cardiovascular system, a block in the vein, a block in the lymphatic system, a block in the brain, a block in the neurofibrillary components, it will be creating an effect by which the block will be removed. So there are so many drugs which are called Anilomana like Haridagi. Sir, I think there is an only Ayurveda Purusha with Anilomana property removing every block in Ayurvedic education, that is Ayurvedian P.V. Ramavariyar sir. You see in 1908, that is what I am telling. So we can see Ayurveda being a mother. I told you, even as I progress with my speech, I always feel that the mother will give birth to the right child at the right time, and the mother will take care. Mother know what he has to do. At a particular point of time, this child will understand what is the real desire of mother in terms of me. Then he will be the best Madhur Valsala Putra, and such Madhur Valsala Putras only created history, especially in Indian medical wisdom, and one among is our founder, Ayurvedian P.V. Ramavariyar sir. Why I am telling all these things to the current generation? You see, now you are having all the multimedia opportunity, all the audiovisual opportunity, every component of artificial intelligence, and every knowledge system is available in your fingertips, and every science is there, opportunities are there, Gurukulas are there, Vishwavidyalayas are there. Utilize it. When there was nothing like this, only Pustaka, only Grantha, and only the internal fire of getting knowledge was there, Ayurvedian P.V. Ramavariyar sir studied Ayurveda with that much of effort. I understand that learning body anatomy was very difficult those days. Learning body anatomy was very difficult in those days, but even with the textual help and continuous dedication, they studied the fundamentals of Shariram. Now we know what is microhistopathology, we know what is immunology, we know what is the latest advancement in the nuclear medicine, but even without any such help, only from the Parayanam, only from the text, with the continuous observation as the skill, he learned Ayurveda. So I am telling my student, you can make him as a model. When there was darkness everywhere with the minimum resources, now we are witnessing all these activities of Ayurvedic knowledge exchange here in AVP. You can see that was the contribution, that was the real ultimate dedication of a person called Ayurvedian P.V. Ramavariyar sir. This is the way to remember him, this is the way to worship him, and this is the way to follow him. I always believe that Ayurveda is a science which is giving prime priority to internal purification. I am not talking about Vamana Viredana Vasti. I am talking about the purification of your mind, your Dhi, Dhridi, Smriti. I am concluding your Dhi, Dhridi, Smriti. All the three mental components are there. Your power of knowledge, your power of experience, your power of your power of memory. All the Dhi, Dhridi, Smriti should be fine-tuned, by which there will not be any avarana in your Manovahasrodas. You can progress. And I always feel that when he established this Ayurveda pharmacy, he has a dream. It should not stop here in Coimbatore. It should not limit with only medicine manufacturing. It should not limit with the healing. It should cross the time. It should cross the desham. It should go beyond the kala. It should go beyond the desha. And I am proud to tell you that the same dream is now happening under the dynamic leadership of Krishna Kumarji, and the current management is putting all the efforts to propagate Ayurveda. So I can see the presence of Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar sir and Krishna Kumar sir in the audience, in the hall, listening what these people are going to do. So let us give a big applause to the current management also, because they are keeping the system alive. It is very difficult to keep the system alive when the environment is not supporting you completely. And especially we can see after the leadership of like Krishna Kumarji, when Ayurveda is facing trouble, when Ayurveda is facing challenges, when the entire health system is facing challenge inside India, outside India, from the so-called scientific fraternity, it is our responsibility to tell this is the ultimate answer of Ayurveda, and they are doing that wonderful effort. And I think the blessings of Ayurvedan Ramavariyar sir and Krishna Kumarji and all the Guru Parambaras will be helping them with the light and all qualities essential for the development of the science. So that is my ultimate humble request. Only one thing to the student, and then I will conclude. See, when we remember such ancient personality, it is not a simple physical phenomenon that we are worshipping them, we are lighting the lamp. You have to light a lamp in your internal heart. You have to light a lamp in your internal heart, by which you are going to learn something fresh. You are going to dedicate yourself and you are applying your entire karma for the betterment of Ayurveda. That is the true way to respect our ancient Acharya, and that is why we are celebrating this Founders Day celebration every year. And one more thing I will tell you: Dana Sheela Daya Satya Brahmacharya Kridajnata Rasayanani Maitrija Punya Ayur Vridhigrat Gana. This is a slogan which is not that much quoted often. It is from Ashtanga Hridayam Sharira Sthanam, 3rd chapter. Ashtanga Hridayam Sharira Sthanam, sir, where he is telling about the number of bones, the number of muscles, all physical thing. He is telling what are the essential components for a blessed life. Punya Ayur Vridhigrat Gana. What are the essential components for a blessed life? You can have a life up to 99. You will be there in the ventilator support. You will be getting the 100 year. But think, what is the blessed Ayu? The blessed Ayu is that Ayu which will provide maximum contribution to the society with limited life. And what are the components for a blessed Ayu? Punya Ayu Vridhigrat Gana. The answer is Dana Sheelam. Dana Sheelam. It is not that you are giving some contribution and receiving the receipt, you are paying something Google Pay. No, it is the Dana Sheelam with Jnana. It is the Dana Sheelam with Karma. It is the Dana Sheelam with your own dedication. Daya. Second component is Daya. Consider everyone as equivalent to you. Atmavas Sadadam Pashyet Kida Pipiligam. Dana Sheela Daya Satyam. That is important. Talk about the truth. Talk about the scientific truth. Validate the scientific truth. That is the ultimate truth in the scientific society. Dana Sheela Daya Satya Brahmacharya Kritajnata. You know, Kritajnata, the feeling of gratitude. Ayurveda always give a top priority to such a quality that is called Kritajnata. You should have the gratitude, that is important. And Dana Sheela Daya Satya Brahmacharya Kritajnata. Last 2 words, Rasayanani Maitrija Punya Ayur Vridhigrat Gana. Rasayanani we can understand. Acharya Rasayanam, the Rasayana with action, the drug Rasayanam, everything. But last word is Maitri. Maintain the friendship, not the friendship in Instagram and Facebook, the ultimate friendship. Maitri, when we love each other, when we dedicate each other, when we do something together, that is the ultimate Maitri, and these are the components of Punya Ayur Vridhigrat Gana. The Maitri created by Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar through the AVP family. Every family members of AVP. I don't think that people who are sitting only constitute the AVP family. Any student who has come once to this campus, for a program belong to the AVP family, so that Maitri, the ultimate love and respect of the entire Ayurvedic family under the dynamic platform of AVP will bring a punyayu, not to me, not to you, to the entire world. That is my ultimate prayer to the God. That is my ultimate prayer from my left ventricle. So let us hope that the current generation of Ayurveda will receive the constant lights, the constant blessing from Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar sir and Krishna Kumar ji, and by which we will not be having any Srodoroda. We will proceed with the success. That is my ultimate thing. So my dear students, learn Ayurveda with a positive attitude. Never stay away from the classical thoughts. Never stay away from the classical thoughts. Today, when you remember Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar sir, make a thing in your mind that he studied everything when there was no favorable environment. There was no favorable system, and what they found, the yogas they created, the yogas they identified, we still use. That is the beauty of Ayurveda. In 1975, what was the mobile phone? That is now out of fashion. In 1975, the dress, now out of fashion. In 1975, the picturization of a beautiful movie song, now nobody will see, out of fashion. But 1975, cotton chukadi is still there. 1975, Villadi Guliga is still there. When there was COVID-19, the oldest Villadi Guliga became the youngest weapon. Am I right? When there was COVID-19, I never studied COVID-19 in my textbook. Adada COVID-19 Nama Adhyayam Vyakyasyamaha Idigas Mahuratrayadayo Magarshaya. I have never seen. I have never taught my student, but COVID was there in front of us, the Anurupa enemy. We took the oldest powerful weapon, Sudarshanam Guliga, Indugandagaru. Learn Ayurveda, love Ayurveda, live Ayurveda. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for taking us down the memory lane with such a heartfelt and evocative address. May I kindly request our esteemed guest on the stage to please take their seats in the front row. Since joining AVP in 2002, Sri Krishnadas Varya, Executive Director of AVP, has played a pivotal role in shaping the organization's growth across multiple domains. His strategic and forward-looking leadership has significantly modernized AVP's operational framework while preserving its Ayurvedic ethos. One of the highlights of today's Foundation Day celebration is the launch of Ayu Quiz 2025, the first of its kind in Ayurvedic education. Over the years, Ayu Quiz has been a tremendous success, spotlighting the knowledge and talent of the nation.
On this day in 1943, Ayurvedan P.V. Ramavariyar started this institution in Coimbatore, and because of his vision as well as wish to make an organization which will become a torch bearer for the Ayurvedic science and make this science a globally accepted, internationally accepted health science system. That is the reason we are here in this campus of the Ayurveda Pharmacy for celebrating the Foundation Day, 83rd Foundation Day of this organization. So, on this occasion, the responsibility given to me is to launch the Ayukus competition, which our respected mentor, P.R. Krishnakumar, started in 2013. Initially as a school edition, by which he want to bring the thought of as well as the knowledge of Ayurveda to the budding children's, make them understand what is Ayurveda, make them come towards to this Ayurvedic science and become a very good Ayurveda Vaidya in the future. That is the purpose he has started this IUQS competition initially in 2013. Later, AVP Research Foundation took this initiative into a college edition in 2022, I think, 2022. This has been changed to a college edition, and also initial this IUQS was only in the Coimbatore region. Now, after making it the college edition, this IUQS has moved to the national level, all India level. This IUQS has been started this competition in the all India level from 2022. First, now we have 3 years. 3 years is completed. This is the 4th year of IUQS competition. First year, this IUQS winners was Vaidyaratnam Ayurveda College from Thrissur, and second and third year was All India Institute of Ayurveda was the winners, and this is the actually 2025 is the fourth year of IUQS, and this IUQS final rounds we used to we are now conducting on the birthday of P.R. Krishna Kumar. That is on September 23rd is the birthday of P.R. Krishna Kumar. On that day, we are conducting the IUQS finals in this campus. So after this launching, initial first phase of this IUQS will start in the remote level from various zones. That is North Zone, West Zone, South Zone, East Zone level, zonal level. We will have an online competition for IUQS. Later, the winners of this zonal level competition will come to Coimbatore for the quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals in the month of September. From 21st onwards, that will be September 21st, 22nd and 23rd, is the quarterfinals, semi-finals and finals. All the winners of this zonal level competition will come to Coimbatore for participating in this competition. And one of the, by the blessings of God, this September 23rd, the Krishna Kumarji's birthday, has become the National Ayurveda Day. Government of India has declared National Ayurveda Day is September 23rd, and we are very proud that on that occasion, this September National Ayurveda Day occasion, we will be conducting this IUQS finals here, and we will be declaring the winners in that program. I am sure many of these, you from the students of Ayurveda colleges must be knowing about this. I am sure all of you, many of your previous batches must have participated in this program. I am looking forward all the Ayurveda students to be part of this IUQS competition and bring this science more and more to the public, make this science more and more acceptable, and I am sure you will become one of the torchbearers of Ayurveda in the coming future. We wish you all of you all the success, and as well as we wish this Ayurveda Pharmacy's Foundation Day will give you more light to bring this science into to the next level. Thank you very much. We can see a small video clip now on the IUQS competition. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Now I have the pleasure of inviting Dr. S. Gopakumar to release the inaugural edition of Arya Arpanam, a quarterly newsletter from the House of Arya Vaidya Chikitsalayam and Research Institute. Arya Arpanam is more than just a newsletter, it's a glimpse into the heart of AVCRI. It features reflections, articles, and updates the showcase the vibrant life, learning, and spirit of our Vedya community. The first edition is specially meaningful, crafted with great enthusiasm by our team and dedicated to our guiding light, Sri Krishna Kumarji. Dr. Gopa Kumar sir, may I request you to kindly release the newsletter?
Thank you, sir. Sparshanam, a physician's primary tool that aids him to assess the rogi in front of him. Sparshanam, a touch, can impart a sense of calm in the patient which years of medicine intake couldn't. Aryaveda Chikitsalayam recently conducted a national paper presentation competition titled Sparshanam. And now it's time to declare the winner. To do the honors, we are delighted to invite Dr. Pavana Jairam, a well-known name in the Ayurveda community and currently serving as Medical Officer, Department of ISM. With an exceptional career in both clinical practice and academics, she is the author of acclaimed works such as Keraliya Chikitsa Pathadi, Roga Vijnanam Vigirdi Vijnanam Volume 2, and Koshta, A Clinical Perspective. Ma'am, may I request you to please announce the winner?
The prize for creative recognition under undergraduate category goes to R. Gokul Raj, Sri Sairam Ayurveda Medical College and Research Center. Third prize under undergraduate category goes to Tejas Shri, SV Ayurvedic College and Hospital, Tirupati. Second prize goes to Salai Indira, UG student, Ayurveda College, Coimbatore. First prize under undergraduate category goes to J.S. Chalingakar, Sardar Ajit Singh Smriti Ayurveda Mahavidyalaya, Bhopal. Under PG faculty practitioners category, the second prize of creative recognition goes to Dr. Abhirami U, AVCRI, Ramanathapuram, Coimbatore. Creative recognition goes to Dr. Shweta, Taranath Government Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital. The third prize goes to Dr. Lakshmi P.S. Ahalya Ayurveda Medical College, Palakkad, faculty. Second prize goes to Anjumol M, practitioner, Pankaja Kasturi Ayurveda College and PG Center. First prize goes to Pooja PJ, faculty, assistant professor, Department of Panchakarma, Ayurveda College, Sikandra, Agra, UP. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I have the honor of inviting Dr. Bhaskaran, President of the All India Ayurveda Congress, Coimbatore chapter, Dr. Bhaskaran is a proud alumnus of Ayurveda College, Coimbatore, having studied there during its Gurukula model days. Sir, may I request you to kindly come forward to deliver the felicitation address.
அனைவருக்கும் இனிய காலை வணக்கம். நான் கோயம்புத்தூர் ஆயுர்வேத கல்லூரியிலே 1986ஆம் ஆண்டு சேர்ந்து 1993 முடித்துவிட்டு பிரைவேட் பிராக்டிஸ் செய்கிறேன் மற்றும் அரசாங்கத்திலே இணைந்து அரசு மருத்துவமனையிலும் பணிபுரிகிறேன். எனக்கு இங்கு பேச வாய்ப்பளித்த ஏஐபி நிர்வாகத்துக்கு எனது மனமார்ந்த நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். பிவி ராமவாரியார் இந்தியா சுதந்திரம் வாங்குவதற்கு முன்பே கோயம்புத்தூரிலே எனக்கு தெரிந்த வரையில் 2 ஆயுர்வேத வைத்தியர்கள், ஒன்று பிவி எல்லாரும் அறிந்ததே பிவி ராமவாரியார், மற்றொருவர் நமது கல்லூரியில் பயின்ற டாக்டர் கிருஷ்ணபிரசாத், கிருத்திகா மேடத்தோடைய ஹஸ்பண்ட். அவங்க தாத்தா கோயம்புத்தூர் ராஜவீதியிலே ஆயுர்வேத பணி வைத்தியம் செய்து வந்திருக்கிறார். அன்றைக்கெல்லாம் கோகுமார் சார் சொன்ன மாதிரி சின்ன பொக்கிஷத்தை கொண்டு அதாவது தமிழ்நாட்டில் கோயம்புத்தூரில் 1943ஆம் ஆண்டு எல்ஐசி பில்டிங் பக்கத்தில் கெஸ்ட்னர்னு ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு வீடு இருந்தது. அந்த வீட்டில் வாடகைக்கு எடுத்து அங்கே வைத்தியம் செய்வதாக நான் கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கிறேன். 1943ஆம் ஆண்டு நமது கல்லூரியில் படித்த ஒரு மாணவருடைய தாத்தாவுடைய வீடு அது. அந்த தாத்தாவிடம் பேசும்போது அவர் சொல்லுவார், ராமவாரியை பற்றி சொல்லுவார். அந்த காலங்களில் பார்த்திங்கன்னா சின்ன பெட்டி எடுத்துகிட்டு சைக்கிளில் வீடு வீடாக போய் வைத்தியம் பண்ணியிருக்கார். எப்படி இருக்குன்னு நினச்சி பாருங்கள். இப்போ நாம் பைக்கில் போகிறோம், காரில் போகிறோம், அது வேறு விஷயம். அந்த காலத்திலேயே பிவி ராமவாரியார் சைக்கிளிலே சென்று வைத்தியம் பார்த்தா நான் கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கேன். உண்மைதான் அது. அதற்கு பிறகு என்னென்னலாம் எவ்வளவு மாற்றங்கள் வருகிறது பாருங்கள். ஃபஸ்ட்டு மெடிசின் தயார் பண்ணுறது எப்படி, அது எப்படி மக்களை கொண்டு போய் சேர்த்தது எப்படி, ஆயுர்வேதத்தை எப்படி ப்ரொபகண்டா பண்ணுறது, ஒரு கல்லூரி ஆரம்பித்து அதில் நிறைய மாணாக்கர்கள் உருவாக்குறது, இதெல்லாம் பார்த்திங்கன்னா ஒரு நபர் மட்டுமல்ல, அனைவரும் சேர்ந்து உருவாக்கி வந்த ஒரு இதுதான். நான் நம்ம காலேஜில் ஐ எம் 8th பேட்ச், ஐ திங்க் 8th பேட்ச். அப்போ உன்னிகிருஷ்ணன் சார் எல்லாம் இருக்கார் எங்கள் காலேஜில். நாங்கள்லாம் ஒன்றா தான் மாங்கரையில் எல்லோரும் தான் ஒன்றா இருந்தோம். நாங்கள் படிக்கிறதுக்கு மட்டும் இல்லை ஒன்றா ஒரு ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஷிப்பாக தான். பிரின்ஸிபல் சார் எல்லாருமே ஒரு நல்ல ஒரு என்ன சொல்கிறது குழுவாக நல்ல குருகுல சிஸ்டத்திலே நாங்கள் படித்தோம். ஆனால் இன்றைக்கி குருகுல சிஸ்டம் இல்லை, வரப்போகுதுன்னு நினைக்கிற ஏவிபியில் அதிவிரைவில் வந்துவிட வேண்டும் என்று கடவுளை பிரார்த்திப்போம். அதுக்கான முயற்சிகள் நம் தலைவர்கள் எடுத்துக்கொண்டிருக்கிறார்கள். ஆயுர்வேதம் படித்துவிட்டு வேலை இல்லை, இந்த ஒரு குறைபாடு. படித்து என்ன பண்ணுறது, நான் எம்பிபிஎஸ் கிடைக்கலனால ஆயுர்வேதம் படிக்க வந்தேன், படிச்சுட்டு என்ன செய்கிறது, வேலை இல்லைன்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. எனக்கு தெரிஞ்ச ஒரு பொண்ணு பிஏஎம்எஸ் முடிச்சுட்டு போஸ்ட் ஆஃபீஸில் போஸ்ட் மாஸ்டர் இருக்காங்க. காலையில் 10 to 2, 2 மணிக்கு மேலே கிளினிக் வச்சுருக்காங்க, ஆயுர்வேத கிளினிக். சிறப்பாக செஞ்சிட்ருக்காங்க. அவங்க ஒரு எக்ஸாம் எழுதுனாங்க, பாஸ் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. போஸ்ட் மாஸ்டர் ஒர்க் பண்ணுறாங்க மார்னிங் டைம், ஈவினிங் டைமில் கிளினிக் வந்து ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்காங்க. இந்த மருந்துகள்லாம் நம்ம தயாரித்து அந்த காலத்திலேருந்தே ஆல் ஓவர் இந்தியா மட்டும் இல்லை, உலகம் முழுவதுமே. ஆயுர்வேத ஃபார்மசின்னா உலகம் முழுமே தெரியும். ரிசர்ச் சென்டர்ஸ் எல்லாமே நம்ம ஏவிபி நிறுவனம் வெகு சிறப்பாக, இன்னும் குருகுலா சிஸ்டத்தில் வந்துச்சுன்னா சூப்பராக இருக்கும். காலையில் 4 மணிக்கு எந்திரிக்கணும், பிரம்மமூர்த்தி உத்திஷ்டன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க இல்லையா. இன்றைக்கி யாருமே 8 மணிக்கு முன்னால் எந்திரிக்கிறது இல்லை. நாங்கள்லாம் படிக்கும்போது 6 மணிக்கு எந்திரிச்சு நம்ம ப்ரேயரில் வந்து உட்காரணும், குளிச்சுட்டு வந்து உட்காரணும். அது முடிச்சுட்டு 7 to 8 யோகா சார் வந்துடுவார். வாசுதேவன் சார் இங்கே தான் இருக்காருன்னு நினைக்கிறேன், இங்கே வரல இன்றைக்கி சாரு வந்து யோகா செய்வோம் 1 மணி நேரம். ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாக இருக்கும், என் தூக்கம் வரும். மாங்கரையில் நல்லா குழு கிளைமேட்டில் ஃபால்ஸில் போய் குளிச்சுட்டு வந்துட்டு அந்த யோகா செஞ்சுட்டு வந்து நம்ம வாரியார் டீ கொடுப்பார். அருமையான நிகழ்வுகள். அந்த 7 வருஷம் மாங்கரில் ரொம்ப அருமையாக என்ஜாய் பண்ணிக்கிறோம். எப்படா மாங்கரை விட்டு போகணும். பட் அங்கிருந்து வந்து பிறகு தான் தெரியுது அதனுடைய அருமை. இன்றைக்கி நான் அந்த வழியில் அடிக்கடி நம்ம காலேஜை போய் பார்த்துட்டு வருவேன். பயங்கர மாற்றங்கள். இந்த ஃபவுண்டர்ஸ் டேயில் வாய்ப்பளித்த அனைவருக்கும் நன்றி கூறி விடைபெறுகிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
Thank you, sir. Next, I am pleased to invite Dr. Kritika M., Principal of Nanda Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital, to deliver the felicitation address. A former principal of Ayurveda College, Coimbatore, Dr. Kritika, has always remained closely associated with AVP. Her continued presence and support reflect her deep-rooted connection to our institution and its enduring values.
Good morning, one and all present here. So everything happens with reason, and first of all I have to thank Lord Almighty, who has made us to gather here with full of positive vibes. And whenever I step into AVP, I always remember Krishna Kumarji, everyone. And I have not lived during the era of our founder Shri P.V. Ramavariyar ji, but his vision we saw in Krishna Kumarji, and Krishna Kumarji's impact is seen in current generation who are all gathered here, and I am also one among that. And whatever we do, the vision of Krishna Kumarji, there he lives, though he is physically absent, but his impact is there with all of us. And that was my vision also, to make Nanda Ayurveda College like Mangarai, but unfortunately I missed Krishna Kumarji visiting our college. He promised during COVID that he will be visiting once he was recovered. But it was not happened. But I am taking his vision, and I wanted to make Nanda Ayurveda College as per his vision. And I pray God always that it should happen. And I can see the impact here also. Those who are sitting here, they have to carry that, whoever steps into AVP. And sir told that whoever steps into AVP, they become the family of AVP. And I always blessed that still I have the umbilical cord relationship with AVP. As told by Bhaskar sir, when we left Mangrai, I thought it was lost paradise because we were living there in Mangrai. And every time AVP has a very good initiative and comes with new ideas, and that is the vibe of AVP Ramanathapuram. And we actually, it is an evidence that you are all here, and I pray God always that each and everyone here should be blessed with Lord Dhanvantari here, and I wish success to AVP always, and I thank sir who has given me the opportunity today to speak in front of you. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. AVP has always considered Ayurveda College, Coimbatore as its own extended family. We deeply value the unwavering support of Principal Dr. Chandramouleswaran, sir, who has never said no to anything related to AVP. Though he could not join us today due to unavoidable circumstances, we are truly honored to have Dr. Aarti Krishnan E., Vice Principal of Ayurveda Medical College and Hospital, Coimbatore, here with us. Ma'am, may I request you to come forward to deliver the felicitation address.
Thank you, Doctor. Respected dignitaries in the dais, and all my dear doctors and beloved students. Good morning to all. I'm truly honored to stand here on this 83rd Foundation Day of AVP. It's very pleasing moment for me, because we know AVP is not only a pharmacy, Ayurveda pharmacy. Even though the word says the pharmacy, it has many subdivisions, like starting from the CIMH. There, many herbal garden plants they are preserving, or the traditional medicines will be preserved, and manufacturing happens in the pharmacy. Then coming to here for the research wing, then testing and doing researches over here in the patients also. Like that, all the services will be finally reaching to the patients. So everything comes under the AVP. So one more thing I would like to say is, AVP is not limiting the facilities to the people or the doctors inside the AVP. Outside institutions like us, means even though we are a part of AVP, anyway other institutions are also coming here, or the doctors are coming here and getting training from the well-known doctors of AVP. So we should appreciate the effort taken or now it's happening by the AVP members and the managing group for propagating Ayurveda to the budding doctors. So on behalf of Ayurveda College, Coimbatore, I would like to say thanks for inviting us for this special occasion, 83rd Foundation Day. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. We now take a moment to honor our distinguished guest with a small token of appreciation. May I request our Managing Director, Sri Devidas Varya, to kindly felicitate Dr. S. Gopakumar. Sir.
We offer not just a statue, but a soul in verse. Thiruvalluvar's wisdom, timeless and terse. திருவள்ளுவரின் திருக்குறளிலிருந்து ஒரு குறள். நோய் நாடி நோய் முதல் நாடி அது தணிக்கும் வாய் நாடி வாய்ப்பச் செயல். குறள் 948. பால் பொருட்பால் அதிகாரம் மருந்து. This verse conveys that only a physician who can precisely diagnose the disease and then treat it accordingly is worthy to be called a healer.
I kindly request Srimati Sangeeta Varya to felicitate Dr. Pavana Jairam. Thank you, ma'am. Let me invite our Executive Director, Sri Krishnadas Varya, to present the memento to Dr. Bhaskaran. Thank you, sir. May I request Srimati Sridevi Krishnadas to felicitate Dr. Parvati. Thank you, ma'am. Let me invite Srimati Parvati Shivadas to felicitate Dr. Kritika. Thank you, ma'am. Now I invite Dr. Arati Vasudev to please felicitate Dr. Arati Krishnan.
Up next, we invite you to lend your ears and hearts to a powerful poem penned by Dr. Gopakumar sir, a heartfelt reflection on the harsh realities of drug abuse. Through his words, he urges us to awaken, reflect, and act. Let's listen in.
മതിയെൻ്റെ മക്കളെ, മതിയെൻ്റെ മക്കളെ, കയറിവാ നിങ്ങളീ മതിവിഭ്രമത്തിൻ കയങ്ങളിൽ നിന്നുടൻ. മതിയെൻ്റെ മക്കളെ, കയറിവാ നിങ്ങൾ ഈ മതിവിഭ്രമത്തിൻ കയങ്ങളിൽ നിന്നുടൻ. രസനമുകുളങ്ങളിൽ തീ പടർത്തിയിടുന്ന രാസബിന്ദുക്കൾക്ക് ചിതയൊരുക്കിയിടുക. രസനമുകുളങ്ങളിൽ തീ പടർത്തിയിടുന്ന രാസബിന്ദുക്കൾക്ക് ചിതയൊരുക്കിയിടുക. ബോധതന്തുക്കളിൽ മതനൃത്തമാടുന്ന ബാധഭൂതങ്ങളെ കുടിയൊഴിപ്പിക്കുക. കരളിന്റെ തളിരിലകൾ വാടാതിരിക്കുവാൻ കരുതൽ രസായനം വേണമെന്നറിയുക. പെറ്റവരുറ്റവർ തന്നുയിർത്തിരയുന്ന ചുറ്റിക ചുരികകൾ ദൂരെ ത്യജിക്കുക. സുരനുരകൾ നീന്തുന്ന ഹൃദയ ചഷകങ്ങളിൽ പരമപ്രേമാമൃതമധുരം നിറയ്ക്കുക. കൂടപ്പിറപ്പിന്റെ തുടമാംസമുണ്ണുവാൻ കൊടുവാള് രാഗി തിളക്കാതിരിക്കുക. വിഷബന്ധനത്തിന്റെ ചരടറുത്തെറിയുക. വിഷാദക്കരിമ്പടം വിട്ടു നീയുണരുക. വിഷാദക്കരിമ്പടം വിട്ടു നീയുണരുക. അലിവിൻ നിലാമഴയിലാർദ്രമായലിയുക. അലിവിൻ നിലാമഴയിലാർദ്രമായലിയുക. അപരന്റെ നൊമ്പരം സ്വന്തമെന്നോർക്കുക. ഇരുളറപ്പൊത്തുകളിൽ ഇനി വേണ്ട താമസം. ഇനി ഉണർന്നിടുവാനരുതരുതു താമസം. ഇരുളറപ്പൊത്തുകളിൽ ഇനി വേണ്ട താമസം. ഇനി ഉണർന്നിടുവാൻ അരുതരുതു താമസം. അരുമകൾ നമ്മൾ തൻ മക്കൾ ജയിക്കുവാൻ ഒരുമയോടൊരു മഹായജ്ഞം നടത്തിടാം. ലഹരിക്കറുപ്പിൻ അമാവാസി രാത്രിയിൽ ലക്ഷം വിളക്കുകൾ കത്തിച്ചു വച്ചിടാം.
Thank you. Now let's adjourn for a tea break and convene back in 10 minutes.
Welcome back, everyone. We now move on to the CME session titled Koshta, a Clinical Perspective by Dr. Pavana Jairam, Medical Officer, Department of ISM. We are honored to have her with us today. Ma'am, may I invite you to begin the session?
അവിടെ പോ दुःखत्रयोपशमनात् वितन्वते शाश्वतं सुखं जगतः हरये धन्वन्तरये करुणानिधये भिषक्तमाय नमः. My pranams to Arya Vaidyan P.S. Ramavariyar sir and heartfelt pranams to Padma Shri Dr. Krishna Kumar ji, to all the dignitaries in the hall. We had lots of inspirational speech, a very good inspirational speech in the morning session. And I would also especially take note of Dr. Gopakumar sir's speech for the basic reason that it was overloaded with Ayurvedic terminologies. Keep this in mind, because that is what basically, in essence, I would like to convey to you all. Ayurveda is a way of living. Ayurveda is a science of life. Ayurveda is not purely mere health science, it is an art of healing. All these are the phrases which we come across. Basically, your students, we listen to these phrases in each day in our classroom, in seminar halls. So all these phrases are very charming and enchanting when we are students or in a seminar hall. It is true, of course it is true, but at the end of our studies or when we, in the ground, the basic nature we encounter is as a physician in our OP, in the clinic, when we sit in front of our consultation table with a list of medicines on it and patient beside us. The seat which we sit is a hot seat. It's a challenging seat which you have to face. Each and every one of us have to face. We get lots of perplexed problems which we have to solve. And it sets a higher target which we have to aim at. So in the seat as a physician, we have lots of difficulties to face, which the phrases which we listen and learn in the clinical, in our studying time, is not sufficient to solve our problem. Why? Let us encounter that. Most of the time, when we sit as a physician, we encounter with the clinical entities. And let me ask to the students, what are the common clinical entities you come across? Can anybody please? I would like to enumerate, get the common clinical presentation as a student you learn, or as a student you see in the OP, or as a practitioner we encounter in the clinics. Basically, they are, please, it's on the board, you can just enumerate. Pain. Which pain? The commonest clinical condition we get in Ayurveda practice is, right? Everybody agree with me? Low backache. I use modern term with a purpose. Low backache, right? Agree? Anybody disagree? So, next common condition which we face, you can say the same or different which you encounter. Okay, so constipation. I think it's visible to everybody. I want you to, is it visible? Okay, Kati Graha, Vit Graha. Next. Yeah, that's all associated. If you say Vit Graha. Then Pratishyaya or Urdhva Jatra Roga, Shirashola, Pratishyaya, whatsoever it is. And the common ground factors which we get in almost, whether it is Katigraya, whether it is Pratishyaya or Shirorog, the common conditions which we get is either diabetic. What we first inquire them, are you diabetic? Are you hyperlipidemic? Or do you have hypertension? We roll out certain set of conditions. So those are the something grounds which exist in each and every patient, right? Right? Yeah, you're getting me? Okay, so these are the conditions which we encounter in almost any kind of presentation, be it Katigraha, be it Shirashola, be it Arshoshola, or be it neurological pain, be it the gastrointestinal symptoms, but we have set pattern of symptoms or presentation which we elicit by default, whether they are diabetic, whether they are hyperlipidemic, whether they are hypertensive, whether they have thyroid dysfunction, etc., etc. Most common, whether they have any allergic disorders, etc. So, the moment we try to inquire this as a physician, now, will you remember Ayurveda is a life science when you ask this question? Will you remember Ayurveda is art of healing when you ask this question? So we have a pattern impregnated behind our mind that once the patient comes to you with an MRI showing IVDP and the patient complains to you with low backache, what comes to your mind immediately? So we are ready with the catalog treatment of Rasna Erandadi Kashaya or Rasna Saptaka Kashaya. This is practically what I am saying that we are inclined to do. Might be some are not, but this is the common thing physicians are inclined to do, right? Okay, so the moment we come across any kind of low backache, Katigraha, the immediate thing that flashbacks to into our mind is I have to either prescribe Rasna Erandadi or Rasna Saptaka or Rasna Panchaka. And if the patient has headache along with this, then we add on either Migracin, Patya Shadanga, etc. And if the patient has arshas, and if the patient also has pain because of arshas, arshoshola, so we go in for Dusparshakadi Kashaya. If the patient is diabetic, we add something for the diabetes. So then Nishakatakadi. If he is hypertensive, add something Sarpagandha based medicine. And if he has dyslipidemia, we also had something which has Varanadi, Lipocare, anything, right? So what is the pattern which we are trying to follow? This is the pattern which most of the physicians, I don't say it is wrong. I don't condemn this methodology. But the only thing is, how are we implementing the science of life, the art of healing in this clinical practice? Is the question. Are we doing it? Or is this the way of methodology which our acharyas has prescribed to us in our text? So that is what is the question or the inquiry I'm trying to create in your mind. So as a student, we should have that strong inquiry how that acharyas have described. So, okay, how many of us doesn't agree with this methodology being followed? So if you agree, then we progress. Like one clinical condition and one medicine is the catalog type of treatment which we are following. And this has a name, and that name is Ekanta Tantra Yukti. Idamittam. This clinical condition is treated with this medicine is called as Ekanta. There is no alternative thought process for us to select. So there are lots of questions which I get in my mind. When you say katigraha or low backache is the most common clinical condition which we face clinically. Almost 70% of the cases come to us with an MRI or with an X-ray or with a symptomological presentation of low backache. And mostly we go with these kind of medicines. Mostly. But if that katigraha is the major presentation lakshana in our Shastra where this term has been mentioned. Do we have an adhyaya called katigraha? Do you have? Yes or no, please. So do you find a mentioning of katigraha in any of our Shastras as a disease? In Vatavyadi, do you have katigraha as a disease? You have Gridrasi. Do you have katigraha as a disease? Yes? No. So that doesn't that create an inquiry in a student's mind? Why so? Have you ever come across the term katigraha in our text? Okay, in Ashtanga Hridaya. So what are we trying to do? This is the question. This is the challenge I want to create in each and every mind. So katigraha has been mentioned in our text, but that does not get a designation of a chapter or a diagnosis in our text. So there is a change. Please listen again. Katigraha has been mentioned in our text, but that has not been raised as a diagnostic criteria for a diagnosis of the physician. So there is a lot of things we miss in understanding the disease. We are trying to put blinders to our eye and try to see a single particular lakshana and try to treat that lakshana. In this process, we are losing lots of clinical nuances as here. When you try to see only a particular lakshana which has been presented, and we are trying to lose all the nuances of clinical presentation, our diagnosis will become the lakshana and not the disease. So there is a very famous saying from Will Durant, a great philosophist. He says, in present times, specialists put on blinders, fixing their eyes to a particular point to know more and more about less and less, which obscures the philosophy of holism. This is also what we are doing now to obscure the philosophy of holism in Ayurveda. So there is one more problem here. This is one of my favorite cartoons from R.K. Lakshman. This is a different context, but I will put this into a different context. In one person, if a person presents to you with katigraha, what we do, we add a kashaya as mentioned earlier. If he is diabetic, then we add on a diabetic medicine. If he is dyslipidemic, we add on a dyslipidic medicine. And if he has neurological problem, there is a gabapentin, or we have our medicine, Dhanvantara Kashaya or Dhanvantara Taila. If he has headache, we add Patya Shadanga, or we give any kind of painkiller. If we have constipation, we give anything like an anuloma. And if he has loss of sleep, then we also add tranquilizer, So there are addition of medicine for each and every symptoms, right? This is again a catalog type of treatment. So what actually is being practiced on ground is picking up the symptoms or lakshanas and treating the lakshanas. So this is what we are mostly been practiced, and how the acharyas have described for treatment. What is the methodology of treating is the question which we have to put ourselves when you see a patient in the clinic. In an OP table, if you find a patient, just put yourself as an acharya and how he thought about the lakshanas presented. So till now, we understood that all the lakshanas we were diagnosing are just rupas. So, what all the methodology of eliciting a disease? How the vikara has to be assessed? What's the methodology that has been mentioned in our text? Yes, very nice. Please enumerate. So if you are following this, now Nidana splits into what? And then basically it splits into two, that is Viprakrishta Nidana, Sannikrishta Nidana. What is Sannikrishta? I will come back to Koshta. This is just an introduction to Koshta. Sannikrishta Nidana stands for doshas. So that gives how it gives dosha neva. The dosha is the sole cause for all disease genesis. So the sole cause for all disease genesis we in specific, precise attribute to doshas. And how the vikaras has been mentioned. Vikara, the description of vikara is swabhavat chutaha doshaha. Remember this, why? The dosha which leaves its swabhava and moves into a vikara swabhava is the one which generates the disease. Right? So when you see a rupa, you should be able to envisage which dosha has left its swabhava and to which vikara has it been traveling to. That's the reason we call it again as gati. Okay? So, when we see rupa, rupa is the which stage of assessment? It's a third stage of assessment, right? First you go for doshas, and doshas create purva rupa or rupa is the second or third stage of assessment, and the basic line of methodology of understanding a disease is in the samprapti. So he says, what is samprapti? Amum ashayam ashritya. It takes an ashaya, doshaha, ittham doshaha. So this kind of dosha, so there is a prefix saying not just vata, pitta or kapha. There is a variant of vata, there is a variant of pitta, there is a variant of kapha, and that variance can be innumerable. Bahu vikalpaha. That's why samprapti has vikalpa samprapti. This variation is of many types. Doshaha ittam, then gataha, then there is a marga. From ashaya, there is a marga or gati. Then comes the dushya. Dushyan evam vikarvanto. Then gives up the lakshana. So when you say just go for katigraha, it is a rupa which is the tip of the iceberg, and behind the screen all this methodology or pathophysiology is keep on continuously acting.
So dosha starts varying from its swabhava depending on the hetu vishesha and the ahara virya or swavirya, depending on the person on it, whom it is acting. So this variation has an ashaya, udbhavasthana, wherever the kaivai that is the udbhavasthana. Now, with an example of katigraha, we try to understand this process of samprapti. So where and all katigraha has been mentioned. Katigraha is a lakshana. So it is not a diagnosis. This is the first principle each and every one of us have to take up as a message of this session. What we see as a lakshana is not a diagnosis. So what is the diagnosis and how to come to which diagnosis? Katigraha is a lakshana in Vataja Jwara. It's a lakshana in Sannipata Jwara. It's a lakshana of ajirna. It is a lakshana in arshas. It is a lakshana in pakvashayagata vata. It is a lakshana in gulma. And it is a lakshana in grahani. Now, as I said, what is the challenge? How do you come to diagnosis? Yeah, it would be fine. Now the challenge is how to reach towards this diagnosis. Whether the katigraha, thank you so much. Whether the katigraha is sourced from jwara or it is sourced from ajirna or it is sourced from, see when I say ajirna, it also includes many other conditions like udara, etc. Or it is sourced from arshas, or it is sourced from pakvashayagata vata, or gulma, or grahani. None of us, after studying, we don't diagnose gulma. Do you? Do you diagnose grahani? Some people might diagnose grahani, and some of the cases we diagnose. But grahani is the most common clinical condition which doesn't present as GI symptom, which presents as katigraha. We hardly diagnose ajirna. We hardly diagnose jwara. Except for fever, jwara is left undiagnosed. Am I right? What happens in jwara is the most important thing. So that is the samprapti which we have to understand. Samsrushtaha, sannipatitaha, prutagva, kupita, malaha. Where? Okay. What happens to doshas there is malaha. So doshas take the term of malaha. Right? Why? What do you mean by dosha? What does it mean? Yes. So there is a paka. When ahara paka occurs, it has to transform into sara and kitta bhaga. The kitta bhaga and sara bhaga is in the koshta. The sara bhaga and kitta bhaga is in the dhatu parinama avastha. And sara bhaga declines in ojas or shukra. Though it's not considered as kitta bhaga from ojas, it is the decline of sara bhaga. So you have 3 levels of vriddhi, mala vriddhi. So when the doshas get transformed basically into mala, that is the stage of jwara, not mere santapha. Right? So that is the one, rasakyam datum anvetya. So it starts from amashaya, it enters into rasavaha srotas. Svena tenoshmana krutva dehoshmano balam. Then the lakshanas manifest. It can, it need not. When in Vishama, we need not get jwara continuously, or sometimes it might be underneath also. In Antarvega jwara, santapa cannot be a lakshana at all. It causes ati trishna. Trishna is again a clinical entity which is not area today. So the doshas gets transformed into malabhaga basically. This is what is happening to doshas in jwara. How they present in the patient? Angasada, Kriyasada. They don't have, means Gaurava, Kriyasu Asamarthata. The patient will not have the energy to perform activity. Patient will get exhausted in daily course. Patient will not be able to concentrate in studies. Patient's concentration capacity will keep on continuously decreasing. The nidra increases or the tandra increases. So many things which are associated with the ojas, that is a sara bhaga lakshana. Now you take the dhatu sara lakshanas, all those sara lakshanas keep on decreasing, not basically pain. Along with them, these are the lakshanas which we have to elicit. So when we are able to eliciting the other lakshanas associated, we will be able to precisely point out what samprapti has been occurring in this particular patients. So doshas samsrishtaha sannipatitaha prutagva kupita malaha rasakyam dhatu manveshya, and then the disease manifest. And here in Vata Jwara, we get terms very beautifully explains the terminologies, pathology which is occurring in the joints or the spine. He says prushtaha kshodam avapnoti. Sandhinam vishleshayati. Please note down, and I will ask you the meaning of these terms, because we don't use the term sandhi vishlesha. Have you heard this term sandhi vishlesha? How many of you have heard? Yes? Yes. So, yeah, of course. So, sandhi vishlesha, this is the most common clinical condition you face. And this is the most common clinical condition Ayurveda people treat. But we don't highlight our terminologies. That's the basic thing we lack. We always write osteoarthrosis, bracket sandhigata vata. We write low back ache, bracket katigraha. So what we are doing is we try to follow a catalog type of treatment which is been already coded into our system. Not from the text, but from our observation. So this terminologies are very important. What is Prushtaha Kshoda? Have you heard of this Prushta Kshoda? Have you heard? Have you read it? And this is the common term which you find in the MRI report. Okay. So, doshas enters into Malabhaga. So, if in chronic, all the astisara keeps on decreasing. That's what is Sandhinam Vishleshaha, Prushta Kshodamivan Apnoti, Urvoho Sadaha, Bahu Sada. You can understand that many people will have, say in Kai Karap, they can't work with it. They will lose their grip. They have difficulty in writing, fatigability while working. So all this carpal tunnel syndrome, etc., everything comes into this. So that activity, decrease of activity or loss of activity, along with weakness of a particular organ, especially the limbs, is what basically get associated with this sadha. So this is because of the malabhaga vriddhi. So what happens in ajirna or udara? I take udara as the ground, then ajirna. There is a very famous quoting which always we quote in an examination paper in the classroom or in seminar hall. Rogaha sarve api. Next sentence. Rogaha sarve api mande agnau sutaram udaranitu. So we always say all disease is because of mandagni, but do we associate udara to it? We associate only ascites to udara. So we don't associate udara to it. Urdhvada dhatum samrodhyaha. Jayante ajirnan malneshchannaihi jayante malasanchaya. What happens in mandagni is, first thing is ajirna. Then malineshchannaihi, ahara malinya. It can be two factors, that is when you have malina ahara or the ahara in your koshta gets malinya. Jayante mala sanchayat. See, the same thing what is happening in jwara is also happening in udara. I think so it's moving by itself. Okay. Ajirnaihi malineshchannaihi jayante mala sanchaya. The same thing, mala sanchaya. Now, mala is not just purisha or mutra. Please remember that we will further go. That is the importance of koshta. Jayante mala sanchayat. Then urdhva ada sroto nirodhya. Here it is basically koshta. Prana, agni, apanan, samrodhya. There is a prana samrodha. If the prana samrodha patient has, jatrurdhva rogas like shwasa, kasa, pinasa, etc. So that's the reason why I said, if you treat a lakshana, you will lose this samprapti. So for all kasa or shwasa, Dashamula Katutraya doesn't work. Does it work? It doesn't work because there is a samprapti which differs from the kasa samprapti but presents as kasa. Remember, there is a samprapti which differs from kasa samprapti but presents as kasa. And in that, if you treat with kasa aushadas, it will not work. So, there again, in Amla Pitta, kasa is a symptom. Do you know GERD, esophagitis? What's the basic symptom? Regurgitation, kasa. It is hrullasa, kasa, then hruddaha. So there, if you give Dashamula Katutraya, will it work? It worsens the condition. So there are many other sampraptis which can cause same symptoms. So rupa or lakshana or presentation is not the diagnosis. This is the takeaway message for this, from this class, that rupa is not the diagnosis, right? So this malasanchaya happens in udara. So any kind of ajirna starts from udara. That is the one which is been intended from the term rogaha sarve api mande agno sutaram udaranitu. So all the ajirna starts from udara. Then in this malasanchaya, even arshas is from malasanchaya, right? Arshas basically Purisha Sanchaya as well as rest every Mala Sanchaya. Now keep this term Mala, we will come into it later on. Mala, I am not referring only to Purisha. Arshas, when there is Mala Sanchaya and Kshobha, Punascha Ati Vyavayataha, Vyayamena, Vega Nirodhat, etc. etc. When there is an Antha Kshobha over Mala Sanchaya, then it takes the form of Arshas. Or it can go into Tiryagati. Same thing happens in Amavata. It enters into circulation. Dhamanischa, Pichalaihi, Nahana Dravyaihi, Dhamani Sanjayaha, Sroto Roda. From there gets the Tiryagati of the doshas. And that gives into other diseases called Amavata. So Amavata is not just ASO positive, CRP positive. But have you observed at what time most of the working people go to gym? Evening or night? You see lots of terms popping up in the city. There are terms who play football, they play cricket, etc. in the city. What's the most time they choose, the working people choose? Night. So do you advise it? Why? If you don't advise, you should tell me why. Where it has been referred? Give me the reference. Second important point, don't imagine yourself. Please don't imagine yourself. Where is the Vata dosha kala? What time to what time? There is a time. Only one yama is Vata dosha kala. Then again comes the Pitta and Kapha. Every yama keeps changing. So there is no please don't, this is the second message you take. Don't imagine principles according to our creativity. Please stop, we have to stop our creativity. Then only you will be able to understand the principles. Until unless you stop creativity, we can't, I'm not undermining anybody. I just want to give a message how you have to be. See, evening time, 6 to 9, after that, then after that, it's Vata, Pitta and Kapha Kala. So most of the people who go play it from night 10 to 12 p.m., they are playing in Pitta Kala. Why it is contraindicated? Then there is a very important shloka. Ratrautu hrudaye mlane, samvriteshu ayaneshu cha, yanti koshte parikledam. What happens? There is a ahasvabhava, there is a ratri swabhava to our sharira. what happens in the daytime? Diva Hrudaya means there is Hrudaya Vikasana. To what Hrudaya is compared to? Hrudaya is compared to a flower. What flower? Adhomukha, lotus. Why it has been compared to lotus? It blooms according to sunrise and sunset. In the sunrise, it is to full bloom. In the sunset, it contracts. Our heart has a similar characteristics. It blooms and it's to full activity in the daytime. In Ratri, it's completely closed and it to minimum activity. This we have in modern terminology called basal metabolic rate. So your metabolic rate will be to its base. So when it contracts, once heart contracts, next immediately which will contract? Dhamanis. The dhamanis contract. Once the dhamanis contract, it's a ripple effect. Then the srotas will contract. So everything will be in the contraction, means sankuchita swabhava. So the activity within your body will be minimum, only to sustain your life. That indicates this is the time you have to sleep, right? And now you see what is increasing. And next, in this time, yanti koshte parikledam. The kleda in the koshta will increase. And if you add food into that, what will it happen? Avidagda iva kshire kshinamanyat vidoshayet. You add hot milk to an unboiled milk. Will it be plain or will it spoil? It will spoil. So also the food you take after 8 o'clock will spoil your koshta. It spoil your agni. And in the ripple effect, it will create diseases. And if you add on vyayama to this, it will haul or pull this ama or vidagda or whatever it is towards the tiryagati, and it will generate diseases. So exercise or gym or play, whatever games you play after food in the evening is the basic cause for any kind of disease. This is the reason why you find many of the heart attacks in young people who are practicing gym at night. You get this news, but you think why? This has been completely given as a principle you should not do. So, acharaha is the first thing. What you should do when is the first thing. Not with your guess. Read the text. Everything is there in text. And just we have to point it out and follow according to our clinical needs. So, this is not, there is no need to ask them at all whether you do these things. You ask them, do you go to gym? Do you go to play? What time you go? This is sufficient for you to come to a conclusion that this particular prapti is occurring in this body, and any other thing would be a ripple effect of this. So there is no need to give Rasna and Adi, no need to give other kashayo, do this and that will be clear. So many of the diabetic patients have been reduced their diabetes without medicine by just changing this pattern of their lifestyle. It's not for all, but it's for few in the initial times. If it is chronic, it's not difficult, it's not possible with the change in lifestyle. But of course, you can prevent it with proper education. Again, this is one thing. Second thing is, bhuktva vyayama, bhuktva praswapatam diva. These two things are again a basic hetu vishesha. We will come to the topic proper as fast as possible. See, I will give you one example, clinical example. The patient, a student of +1, came with headache, continuous headache. And instead of giving medicine, I just changed one pattern in his. He has his breakfast at 7:30 and leaves by 7:40 in a cycle for 4 kilometers. Change this pattern, within 1 week, everything got reversed. So there are many people who study in +1 and +2. They will have their milk early morning 6 o'clock. And then they go for it. Change this pattern, their disease will come down. People have a very bad habit of having milk late night after food. Ama bibhuta koshtasya kshiram vishamaheriva. In the night, as I told, yanti koshte parikledam. The night has the koshta parikleda avastha. And in that, if you add milk, again, it is vishavat. It turns toxic to your body. So, milk is a very good food, but know when to have it, when to prohibit it. If you follow this one particular pattern, then you can avoid many of the pediatric complaints. So this is the reason why pediatric cases are being increasing continuously. So coming back, so there is the association of nidana to the doshas and what it is causing the variation in doshas. So as we saw, arshas, then in all these conditions, we all know what is happening to doshas, not completely, but to a certain extent. But contrary to this, what happens to doshas in gulma? The same symptoms. This, what you see in grahani, the same symptoms you see in gulma. What you see in jwara, the same symptoms you see in gulma. Have you not come across this paradox? The symptoms repeats. In jwara you read the same symptoms. In gulma you read the same symptom. In grahani you read the same symptom. Pakvashagata, same symptom. Pakvashagate, shula, anaha, antrakojanam, malarodha, ashma, vardma, trika, prishta, katigraham. You read the same symptoms. Then how do you diagnose? It is this change which happens. So what is arshas? Vina arshena. Vatabhibhuta koshtasya tair vina api te jayate. All these symptoms of arshas again occurs in a koshta who have udara. In udara, it is vatabhibhuta koshta. We will come across in the next slide about that. And if this happens in pakvashaya, then it will lead to pakvashayagata vata, where again the symptoms is prishta katigraha. And contrary to this, grahani also causes similar symptoms. Grahani is almost similar to jwara. Jwara is almost relapsing to that of grahani. But what is the one important lakshana or pratyatma lakshana which makes us different from other things is the question which I will ask you later on when we discuss about mandagni. So when we think about the doshas, now the whole thing, that's what they say, Shakunihi sarva devasamapi prapatan swam chayam natnu vartate. Nati vartate. Have you heard of this dictum? Yes, what is it? Yes. Yes. Shakuni is? Yeah, it's not the character in Mahabharata. It is a bird. A bird which flies for whole day doesn't cross its shadow. Yes? So whatever happens in your body, whatever transformation, that doesn't go beyond doshas. That's the reason why doshas get that importance in our samprapti, in our pathology, in our diagnosis, in our treatment. But dosha doesn't stand as vata, pitta, kapha. Keep that in mind. It's not simply vat, pit or kapha. So what happens to vata, pitta and kapha? For that, we have to understand how vata, pitta and kapha is generated in our body. Do you remember? All of us have studied this shloka in our first year BAMS. Yes. Where vata generates, where pitta generates, where kapha generates, and how it generates. Do you know? If you know, please tell with me. Annasya bhukta matrasya madhuradhyat. Madhuradhyat prapakataha. Feni bhuta kafam udiryate. So, annasya bhukta matrasya shadrasasya prapakataha madhuradhyat kafyo bhavat feni bhutam udiryate. So, in the amashaya, sthana, adhisthana is the one thing. Feni bhuta kapha, that is the ideal kapha. The doshas, ideal doshas that is formed is feni bhuta kapha. Okay? And where it is formed in the amashaya. Parantu pachyamanasya. When it go to pachyamana avastha, vidagdasya, it is vidaha which is occurring there. So vidaha is normal in everybody. Vidagdasya amla bhavataha. Okay? Pitta macha mudiryate. There, which pitta is formed? Pittam acha pitta. It is pure pitta. It is not amla pitta. If it becomes amla, it is a disease. That's what disease gets the name amla pitta. So your amla pitta starts where? Pachyamana. That is grahani. Okay? Then when it goes to Pakvashayam tu praptasya shosyamanasya vahnina. Vayuhu syat katubhavataha. The vayu is formed because of katubhava. That's the reason it causes shoshana. It causes shoshana of Kitta, and the feces, that Purusha gets its form. And because of shoshana, the kapha will stay in its limits. And this shoshana elsewhere also limits the form of kapha, the form of pitta. If that limitation is not applied, then the kapha will grow to a very high extent. And then if it is not feni bhuta kapha, if here ama occurs, where ama occurs? The sthana of ama? Only amashya? How many types of ama are there? The ama which forms in the amashya is purely called as ama. It's almost similar to kapha, and the vikara it causes is for the kapha dosha causing sthani bhuta kapha or vruddha kapha or etc. Pichale kapha etc. The ama which occurs in the paschimamashya is vidagdha. Have you heard that? Vishtambama, vidagdhama and ama. Here the pitta becomes from acha to amla. The amla pitta increases. When this amla pitta enters into rasavaha srotas and the vikara is not purely in the koshta, if the vikara enters into rakta, then the disease which gets generated is shita pitta. The associated disease to it is udarda. Then the severity of shita pitta increases, it becomes visarpa. So the disease, all these three diseases are sister diseases which can be treated with same medicine. The base is same. So that's the reason. You remember pizza, not for eating. Remember, there is a common base for pizza. There is a common base for diseases. And that common base is what you are holding into for as samprapti, not the lakshanas basically. The lakshanas, you can add on medicine for different, treating different lakshanas, but the base medicine will be basically for the samprapti. Then, in the pakvashayam tu paptasya, shoshyamanasya vahnina. What happens if this shoshana increases? Purisham vartuli bhavati. What is Purisha vartuli bhavati called as? I said earlier. Udavarta. In Sushruta, he gives 13 types of Udavarta. None of us, have you ever diagnosed Udavarta apart from the guide Prasuti Tantra Udavarta? This is the basic thing. Udavarta is the most common condition. Te te cha vataja roga jayante brusha dharunaha. Vata abhibhuta koshtasya tair vinapi sajayate. In vata abhibhuta koshta, where the samprapti is here, then all the symptoms have arshas recurs without the actual manifestation of arsha. And all the symptoms of te te cha vataja rogaha jayante brusha dharuna. Brusha means what? So we know, all of us know what is acute. What is acute? What is acute? Sudden onset. What is subacute? The onset within 6 hours. The onset when it prolongs to 2-3 days, then becomes subacute to chronic. Okay, this we know. But what you call acute in our term? It is brusha. Anything that manifests sudden is called as brusha. How many of us use this term in our case sheet? We use the term acute, we use the term chronic. Why don't you use your term in that? This is the third message which you have to take from this session, that use the terminologies mentioned in your text. So I will have an examination, means of 2-3 cases where whether you will be able to term the condition. Okay, so brusha and daruna. Daruna means severe. So all those pakshagata, all those which are brusha in nature can also, because of this udavarta, it's not only vata vyadi. So you have, for a vata vyadi, you have a differential diagnosis. The differential diagnosis can be udavarta or vata vyadi. And all the daruna disease like Parkinson's or involuntary movement disorders, etc., there can also be because of this koshtajanna vyadi. So, a diagnosis can be complete only when you make the diagnosis of samprapti, not of lakshana. Keep in your mind as a student, diagnose the samprapti, not the lakshana. So the list goes on, even Shofa it comes here. So where the disease starts, if it is Ama Pradhana, it becomes Amashaya. If it is Vidagda Pradhana, it becomes Pittashaya. And if it is Ruksha Pradhana, Avarta Pradhana, it becomes Kafashaya. So now the whole process starts from dash. What is this whole thing called as? This is Koshta. So what is the definition of Koshta? Have you come across the definition? Everybody has studied Koshta, right? Who is the one who doesn't know about Koshta? Can anybody raise your hand who doesn't know Koshta? So if you know Koshta, you should know what is it. What is Koshta? Yes, anybody? So I will give you, go on, this is the work, you have to work out where this definition has been given. Koshtaha ahara paka adharaha. It is the adhara, substratum for ahara paripaka. Rasa, mutra, dosha, vibhaga kartravya. Here starts rasa, ahara rasa, mutra, purisha and doshas. So the transformation of ahara to rasa, the transformation of ahara to kitta, the transformation of ahara to doshas starts from Koshta. And this transformation gets into circulation. Upasnehavad annasaro nisrutya rasakyam dhatu anvetya. It from the Koshta. So there are lots of pathologies which has been mentioned. Have you ever heard of Upasneha apart from the Mutravaha Srotas? It is in the Koshta. This process of Upasneha, it might be diffusion or perfusion. So dash, 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 all those systems come into here. We all use osmosis, we all use perfusion, we all use infusion terms in our studies, but we never use the term upasneha. Annasaro nisritya, it goes into circulation, and wherever it gets lodged because of sroto vaigunya, kavaigunya, that is the place where it generates. That is the dhatus where it causes dushya. There the disease manifests. So disease, any disease has, basically when you classify it has dhatu saratah kshayaha or because of samanya. So samanya vyadhi also can cause nanatmaja vyadhi. Nanatmaja vyadhi can be manifested by itself. So any disease, be it udavarta, be it katigraha, be it krudrasi, it has two sampraptis. So, in short, how the disease has to be assessed. What are the parameters to assess a disease? First is a Viprakrishta Nidana, Ahara Vihara. We have found this. See, Ahara Vihara on Desha Kala becomes the Bahiranga Hetu. Hetus are of two types. One which is outside, one within yourself. You have a Bahiranga Hetu, you have an Antaranga Hetu. Bahiranga Hetus are the influences. That's the reason. Some persons, if they drench in rain, they will catch cold immediately. Not everybody will. Why? It is the reaction of your Antaranga Hetu to the Bahiranga Hetu. So, all Bahiranga Hetus are not universally stimulant to each and every person. It is selectively stimulant. So Bahiranga Hetu are selectively stimulants, and basically it comes as Ahara Vihara. So in this, there are definite Hetus, where are indefinite Hetus. So Pratyatma Hetu and other one. Definite Hetus are the one which we came across, like when you go to gym in the late night, it is a definite Hetu. Shortly or in later, it is going to cause the pathology it is supposed to. It is definite. Indefinite is having food untimely, having something like you are not supposed to take curds at night, but for a Vata Ruksha Pradhana, it is allowable. So it is indefinite. It is not universally having the same kind of pathology in each and every person. So Ahara Vihara, so that is always a variation according to Desha Kala. And Antaranga hetus are dushyas and dosyas. This. So, ahara vihara, sannikrishta hetu is dosha. And what happens? The tattva is the samprapti which we came across now. Then janayanti gadahas. Then comes the rogaha. So if you are able to elicit all these background factors, then you will be able to make a precise, perfect diagnosis with a clarity of mind, and you can give a very good result to the patient with a very minimum time. So Katigraha you can treat with Chirivilvadi Kashaya. Katigraha you can treat with Saptasaran Kashaya. Katigraha you can treat with Nadi Kashaya. Katigraha can be treated without anything at all. All depends on where the diagnosis stands and what advice you are giving to the patient. Hence, the basic three principle for treating a disease, what Acharya says is Tasmat Vikara Prakriti. Keep an highlighting note on this. It is not the assessment of Prakriti. Assessment of Prakriti, I don't condemn it, but that will not give you any contributing factor much for the diagnosis. What you have to understand is Vikara Prakriti, how the disease has changed from its Swabhava, how the disease has made doshas to change from its Swabhava to the Vikara which we are noticing presently in the patient. Note, what is Vikara Prakriti? How the disease had changed the doshas from its Swabhava to the present condition with which it is being presented to the Vaidya. That is the Vikara Prakriti. We saw many examples. So, Tasmat Vikara Prakriti Adhishthana. What I said with Amla Pitta, right? Visarpa, the basic Adhisthana of Visarpa is in Pachyamanashaya. The basic Adhisthana in Udavartajanya Vataroga is in Pakvashaya. The basic Adhisthana of Amavata in Jwara person is in Amashaya. Adhisthana Antarani. It can be in the Koshta or it can be in the Dhatus. But there is also a possibility of Koshta. So that's why when Ama has been described, there has two methodologies for Ama description. What is that? One is Agni Mandyajanya Ama. Then second one is Dosha Dusha Samurchana Janya Ama. The same thing can happen in dhatus because of dosha and dusha samurchana. If dhatu has an vikara and dosha is even normal, if dosha gets associated with the dhatus in the dusha sthana, causing dushanatva of the dhatus, then it is samurchana janya ama. The ama can be at two sides. So it is your responsibility of a Vaidya, as a Vaidya, to distinguish. So basically, it's a diagnosis of discrimination. Discriminate, neti neti krama, not this, not this, not this. Rule out is what is most important in our mind. And Hetu Vishesha. Now, in the context of Hetu Vishesha, again, we here have. So, in Rutucharya, there is a very important thing. Why the Rutucharya has been mentioned? Do you have any idea? Rutucharya has not been mentioned for you to practice the principles mentioned in the text of the particular Rutu. Rutucharya is an upalakshana of dosha vikalpa. What Sharad Rutucharya stands for? Pitta Shleshma. What Vasanta Rutucharya starts for? It is Vata Kapha. What Grishma Rutucharya stands for? Graishmaha Prayo Marut Pitte. Vasantaha Kapha Marute. So the disease pattern of these doshas will simulate this pattern of seasons. So the idea of doing Vasanta Vamana or idea of doing Sharad Virechana is not universal. Please take it. This is becoming a misconception which has been practiced en masse to many people. Not all people are eligible for Vamana in Vasanta. Only Vata Kapha Pradhana, either Prakriti or Vikriti, is eligible for Vamana in Vasanta. This is a takeaway message. Please don't do this mistake. So Sharat, what Pitta Shleshma? Pitta Shleshma always, whether it is Grishma, Pitta Shleshma Vyadi should always be treated like Sharat Rutucharya. So that shows it is easy for us to connect with the external climate, the changes which we see. What happens in Varsha? Varsha, it always keep on It's overflowing with what? The liquid element, the moist element. What happens in Atisara? Adas sramsayati abdhatum. The up dhatu sramsana occurs in the koshta towards the lower pathway. And Atisara is Ashukari, which becomes Chirakari. It's called as Grahani. That's how Ashtanga Hridaya explains Atisara and Grahani. The Atisara, so in both Atisara and Grahani, the up dhatu is Chavana occurs in the Adovaha Srotas. It is almost similar to Varsha Rutucharya. So now if you go and do Vamana to a person with this character, what will happen? You are going to make him land in trouble, which is not visible immediately, which is evident in a later stage of his life. So be very careful before starting any Panchakarma treatment. There is very specificity of dosha avastha. That's the reason why there is a very standard dictum. Nayuktam avadharanam idameva chikitsam idam neti. Don't ever come to diagnosis. Once you see pinasa, don't do nasya. Once you do see this one, ama, don't start doing amapachana. Whatever is vasti. It is not the thing that you are going to ascertain this is the treatment, this is not the treatment, because Pinasa is the most common presentation for you in the Grahani. You see a person with Grahani, Pinasa, if you elicit properly the history taking, there shall be in most of 50% of the cases, it is because of Grahani. And there Nasya will not do any good. So that is the reason I say, idameva chikitsam idam neti is not the particular treatment, line of treatment. Chikitsayam tu pradhanam avastha anuvidhanam. You have to follow the dosha avastha, adhishtana, and what is the manifested pathology. If you give Grahani Chikitsa, Pinasa will come down by itself. There is no need to give any treatment for Pinasa. So these are the things which we have to keep in our mind. Hetu. So now Hetu Vishesha we came across few earlier, but there is a very important thing. The Hetu Vishesha splits into three. Swaviryena, Aharadi Viryat, Adrushta Hetukena Karmana. This is found only in Ayurveda. Swavirya we can know. There are certain genetically predisposed conditions. There are hereditary predisposed conditions. Certain people will just immediately catch cold. Certain people will immediately catch fever. Certain people will immediately catch joint pains. Certain people will immediately catch constipation with slight changes in their lifespan. This we know. That is the Swavirya. Many of the people who have heart attack, they have the tendency to transfer that to their progeny. That's again Swavirya. We have the same kind of health whatever ancestors had. That is Swavirya. Aharadi Vashat Punaha. Next, the one which is generated by Aharadi Vasha. The foods we eat. The do's and don'ts we do during food pattern. The do's and don'ts we do in the lifestyle patterns. All these contribute to Aharadi Vasha. Now I ask a question. Which is more dominant? Swavirya or Aharadi Vasha? Yes. Can you delete the Swavirya predisposition through Ahara? Yes, you can. If you are properly, that's again properly because there is no common diet pattern to everybody. Once you see diabetes, don't give common diet pattern. Diet pattern is according to avasthas. Diet pattern according to Vikara Prakriti. So if you are able to chart a diet pattern according to avastha, according to Vikara Prakriti, you can overcome the predisposition to a particular disorders. Then one thing which Vaidya cannot change is Adrishta Hetukena Karmana. Ayurveda is the only science. This is the reason we say it is an art of science, art of healing, because it gives so much patterns of causative elements. It gives so much patterns of presentation, and it gives so much patterns of options of treatment. There are lots of options. We might not be able to select the option, but there are options and treatment for each and every condition. If you are able to understand that and try to relate, you will be so precise that you can treat almost 80% of the treatment of the condition, but rest 20% Adrushta Hetukena Karmana, we can't do it. There comes the Daiva Vipashraya Chikitsa. What is Adrushta Hetukena Karmana? Praktana Karmana. We say it's your prarabdha. We incur it because of our previous karma. It is the sanchita karma or prarabdha karma which we are experiencing. And that is elicited through the Jyotisha Shastra, and it is treated through Daiva Vipashraya to a certain extent, not completely. So, these are the things which we try to understand. Now we will touch into a very small area, which is a very big area. We will try to do it in very small time. Next, we learned that rogaha sarve api. So what is Mandagni? I will not show you this. How do we elicit Mandagni? We elicit Mandagni with a single question, right? What is it? Do you have? Or not? If he doesn't have, it is Mandagni. If he has, normal, right? Is it Mandagni? No, Mandagni is just, do you have appetite or not? Activity is again different. It is Vihara. Mandagni is simply, it depends on whether you have the inclination to have food, whether you have the cravings to have food. That's only Agni, right? The symptom of Agni. It's not only Agni, it's a symptom of Agni. The Lakshanas we elicit is only with one sentence. So again it's like putting the blinders, the lion photo, which keep that photo in your mind, always keep remembering that when you see patients. We are not seeing what actually it is completely. We are putting blinders to it. How the Shastra says Mandagni. So there are lots of variants of Mandagni. And we always ask whether you have appetite. Do you ever ask, do you have frequent appetite? You ever ask, what do you write then? What do you write? If you write Mandagni, what is increased appetite written as? What's Tikshnagni? What does the term Lakshana has been mentioned? Where it has been mentioned? Basmaka is diagnosis, okay. But the term is Annasya Vidaha. It's a Purva Rupa of Grahani. So there the Agni and Ama splits. It has two different opposite pathways. So usually, once this two is discriminated, so that is what I say, Neti Neti Krama, rule out the things. So Agni, if it goes into Tikshna Agni level, the Ama is completely different there. So there is Langanam Paramoshadam universally applied. For this category, you cannot apply. So it has been said in the text also. In the Pitta Jwara, it is said that you are not supposed to do Langana. So again, don't generalize diet pattern. This is the reason why I say fasting. We say fasting is very good. Do fasting. Do fasting. Upavasaha Paramaushadam. No, there are lots of patients whom you are not supposed to do Upavasa, who cannot sustain Upavasa. You are creating pathology if you are doing Upavasa. Okay? So we will just go through this fast. Raukshat Mande Agnau. When there is Rukshatva, remember that Amashaya, Pakvashaya, Pachamanashya, Pakvashaya Janyat Rukshatva, Sarpihi Tailamba, Deepaneih Para. So in Vata Vyadhi, we always go in for Tailapana, Snehapana, Ragrutapana. Remember that should fit into this particular Samprapti, otherwise it's not going to do any good for you. Snehati Panat Mande Agnau. Sneha Atipana is an Upalakshana. It is not just because of Snehapana which we do. We don't have much time to explain that, but it is a Samprapti where in that condition, Kshara, Churna, Asava, Arishta. Now you see, in this two Mandagni, the treatment is completely contradictory. There is one saying, Snehameva Param Vidyat Mandanala Deepana. Have you heard of this? So in Agni Mandya, Sneha is the best line of treatment. Atyartha Mandakaya Agnehe Takrameva Avacharet. In Ati Mandakaya Agni, what is the main line of treatment? Takra. Takra and Sneha are same. It's contrary. Sneha Tapana, Takra is the treatment. So the used term is Mandagni is common in both. So what does it indicate? Just assessing Mandagni is completely it's a very wrong kind of approach. What we have to do is, you have to prefix the Hetu Vishesha. This is the importance of Hetu Vishesha. To what Hetu Vishesha, what is the manifested symptom and what is the treatment is the most important way of treating. So if you just see Mandagni, you will mix up all the variants, nuances of clinical presentation which will not present to you in a very sustained result. Dosh Udavartat Mandagna. We heard what is Udavarta. So, if Mandagni is in the condition of Udavarta, there is no Snehapana, etc. Niruha Sneha Vastaya. This is the importance of Vasti. Okay. That's the reason in Vata Vyadi, Vasti is the main line of treatment. Okay. Doshati Vruddhya Mande Agnau. In Doshati Vruddhi, see, you see all this Antarpana Vyadi when we read about Prameha, when we read about Kushta, we always say it is Ati Doshaja Vyadi or Santarpanaja Vyadi. In that condition, we have Bahudoshasya Mande Agno Doshati Vruddhya. You have either Pachana, Deepana, etc. or you have Bahir Nirharana Kramaha. Sroto Vibande Mande Agnau. Again, it's same as Sneha Tipanat, Kshara Churna, Asava, Arishta, Mutra Takran, Yojayet. Ama Guru Upalepad Vibhadda Vit. Again, same line of treatment. Bhinna Godetu Male in Grahani. Again, it is Asava, not Shodhana. Mandagni Krura Koshta is Udavartat. Same. Vyadhi Muktva Mande Agno, it is Peyadi Krama. Some Shodhana is the main line of treatment. There is some kind of jumbling there. It's not the actual thing. So, Vyadhi Muktat Mande Agno, it is always the Peyadi Krama. So, Mandagni has to be described with a prefix. So, your treatment will be perfect. This is what I try to explain through Koshta. Why Koshta is because it is the Adhisthana. It's here, it's the disease manifestation starts in most of the condition. Of course, in not all the condition, but in most of the condition. So, always keep these three principles in your mind. Tasmat Vikara Prakriti. Understand the Prakriti of the Vikara. What actually the word Prakriti means? Yes, please. What the word Prakriti means? Nature. It's also called, it's a name. You are near to it. Why the term Prakriti has been given? It's inside the term itself. Is anybody Kriti here? What is Kriti means? It's my Kriti. When I write a book, it's called as, it's my Kriti. When a person makes a shilp and say idol, it is his Kriti. When a person composes, it is his Kriti. What does it mean? Doing. It's manifestation. Prakriti means Prakarshena Kriti. Whatever has happened. So nature gets the name because God created this. It's a Prakarsha Kriti of God. Nature, Niyati is Prakriti. Then the disease, the Prakriti is nature. We are created from the nature. So we have a Prakriti. And here inside the body, because of dosha, etc., there is a disease formation, manifestation, kritihi, prakarshena kritihi, prakriti. Prakriti simply means manifestation. It is created. What is created? Vikara has been created. How it has been created? This is what is Vaidya's work. Vikara prakritihi, adhishtanantarani, buddhva, hetu vishesha. Again, there is a suffix adjective add to hetu. Simply ahara, vihara doesn't become hetu. There is a Visheshanatva. There is no Samanyatva. There is Visheshatva in the Hetu. Whether that works in you, it doesn't work in you. How it works in you and how it works in others. So these are the things which you have to elicit. So if you have to do this, there should be one change in you from this time. And what is that change? That change is Indian mind needs to think purely Indian. Try to assess all the presentation in your terms. Right? So you have a term, you have a text, You have terminologies far, far excellent than the modern terminologies. Modern people doesn't have the terms as we have, but we use it very less. So let us test what are the terms used for this. So you are seeing 2 slides here. Can you tell me what is this condition? What is this? So what is this picture of? This is a picture of? Please. It's a picture of, it's an X-ray of? Chest X-ray. It's a picture of heart. So what you are seeing in this X-ray? Cardiomegaly. Okay. Everybody know it is? Cardiomegaly. In your case sheet, what do you write? Cardiomegaly. How much marks you expect from me? Why? What is this term called in our science? This is just in quiz. 2-3 slides I will show, not more. What is this called in our science? Has this any term in our science? Do just tell me whether it has a term or not. Yes? Then you would have read it sometime in your life. Just remember what is it. I will give you a clue. Are you getting what I am speaking? Everybody? Somebody know? A clue? Yes. Remember one thing, every term name has a meaning. There is no name without meaning. Okay? I will give you one name and tell me what is it and why it is named so. As we said, Prakriti, Vyayama. Why? It's in the 2nd chapter of your term. It's in the 1st year syllabus. Not pranavayu, it is just ayama, dhairgikarana of your limbs. Pranavayu is different, but here it is ayama. Ayama means dhairgikarana. What you do in exercise? You move your limbs, you extend it, you means flex it. So that is dhairgikarana. You extend to a very maximum position which you can do, right? Yes or no? Everybody sleeping? No? Okay, thank you. I can be satisfied. So it is Vyayama is dhairgikarana. Vyayama has word Dehasya ayama. Ayama means dhairgikarana. What is this? Yeah, tell me. Hrudayayama. It's a word in Vatajat Nanatmaja Vyadi. You have this Ramsa, Vyasa, Vyada, Swapa, etc. Go, you have the word ayama also there. Okay? This is Hrudayayama. So what is this now? Diagnose it first. What is that? Yes, anybody please? Can you see the change? I have put a line also for your easy understanding. What is that? What is happening in this film, in this X-ray? What is the pathology you find in this X-ray? And what the diagnosis is? You give me a modern diagnosis. Okay, fine. Yes, right. Louder, louder, please. Yes, you are right. Be louder. Who said this? Yes, be louder. Listhesis. What is listhesis? Sliding of a spine over another. So it loses the spinal line. Right? Is it a common diagnosis? So what do you write on case sheet? I give you marks. 0. Why? What should you write there? Sandhigatvat. Why? Sandhigatvat. I don't give you marks. Why? Sandhigatvat, if has a particular means if has a particular presentation, you can write. Otherwise, no. This is not Sandhigatvat purely. Sandhigatavat can have this also, which is the term I will tell you later on. Sandhi, that is Sandhigatavat, not this. Yes. Sramsa, very good. A big hand for her. What is Sramsa? Vishlesha plus Sthanachyuti is Vishlesha. Then only Sthanachyuti is Sramsaha. Dislocation. Any kind of Bahu Sramsa is Bahu dislocation. Kasheru Sramsa is what is listhesis. So try to find out your terminologies. Try to apply that in your case sheet and then you will know. Now you tell me what you said. What is this? Sandhigata Vata is not the terminology. It is a diagnosis. What is happening in this? So you tell me in modern science, what is happening in this? What has happened here? Loss of joint space. Then the sclerotic changes. The diagnosis is osteoarthrosis. So it is Sandhigata Vata. Yes? Why Sandhigata Vata? What happens? Give me the one single sentence of Sandhigata Vata. Yes. The single line of Sandhigata Vata. Hanti. Sandhyashrayan. Sandhin. Shula atopa karoticha. Yes. They use the word Hanti. What does it mean? It destructs the Sandhi. You're right now. Now you write. What is that? What is the dosha which is in the sandhis? Shleshaka kapha. What does that Shleshaka kapha does? Tarpana means, what is the Tarpana meaning? What is the Tarpana term used here in the sandhis? Yes, you're right. Sandhi samshleshana. Shleshaka kapha gets the name because of Sandhi samshleshana. It gives the lubrication. It gives the binding capacity. Alinganatvat. Shlishya alinganatvat samshleshaha. And then this is lost. The fluid is lost. It becomes, now what you said is right, vishleshaha. Vishlesha is the loss of fluid. And when it loses the space, Sthanat Chutaha, it is Vishleshaha is called as Sthanat Chutaha and Samshlesha Nashaha. When there is a subluxation of this joint, which I haven't showed, then it becomes Sramsa again. So Sramsa is any kind where is subluxation from its position. So the first thing what you tell is, don't treat the Lakshanas. Second thing is, understand the Lakshanas with the Nidana Panchakas. And for understanding the Lakshanas with Nidana Panchaka, you should know the text, what Shastras has been mentioned. So go through the text in detail. When you go through the text, you need to understand the terms mentioned in the text. So know the meaning of the text terms. And when you know the meaning of the terms, please always correlate with the clinical presentation. And when you understand this clinical presentation, please write the clinical presentation in our science, in our language. Can you ever speak Tamil in English? Can you speak Malayalam in English? Can you speak English in Sanskritam? So how do you treat Samskrita in English? We are treating Samskrita terms, but how we are using the English language. This is called as a defect, which is a very basic defect we are doing as an Ayurveda physician, which is called as anachronism, which cannot be matched. So when you start with the basic effort of knowing your science in your term, reach to a very which you will not be able to explain now, but you will be able to feel when you reach that. So with this slide, I would like to say all the symptoms look similar. Yes? But there is a variation in it. Cohorts is not what we are trying to generalize through cohorts. Never generalize characters with cohorts. But what you need to know is the phenotypes, the variant in it, which makes the difference as a physician, as a presentation, as a clinician. So with this, I would like to end. If you are trying to mop the floor when the tap is open, you keep on doing it, will you reach the target? No. First close the tap. For that you should know where the source of leak, and then you try to do it. So with this, I would like to put the session for question and answer. Any doubts, please open up. Thank you all for the patient listening. No question. questions. Okay, so this is a seminar. I made it into a class. Okay, fine. If you have questions, anything, please. So I saw most of you were students, so I changed the seminar to class. If you have any objection, please hold it on, or you can tell me no problem. As I saw students, I found it better to put it as a class. Okay, if you have any question, we can go with question. Otherwise, thank you very much, one and all, very much. Thank you.
Madam, your class was very much informative.
Thank you.
But I would like to highlight on a point that in a OP, we will get patients which are not chronic, acute, or whatever term we have to use. We will have to manage in different conditions. So based on that, we don't get time to treat ama or dushi visha. Then what will be the way we have to adapt?
So we will get, see, ama can be treated within few days also. Our line of, we see that our line of treatment is slow responding. No, we can get faster results within 3 days or 4 days. What I said is, not all diseases can be treated with ama. Okay. So if you ask this question, I will come to the point now. What we did is just a groundwork. Okay, it's a base of Pisa. Nothing of this will be seen in the clinics. Now what you see in ama has many avasthas. Have you heard of Utklishta avastha? Where? Ama can go in for Utklishta avastha. Ama can go in for Utklishta chala avastha. Ama can go in for Leena avastha. Ama can go in for many other kind of avastha, even Mandagni. All these things, what I said is just like, that's why I said it's just the base of Pisa. You don't see the base of Pisa mostly. You always see the icing over it. What I say, it is icing or. I just showed you a light or a way what needs for you to read the text. So you need to get oriented. Whatever you see in the patient, put a question to yourself, what I have to write, and then go for text. You will get an answer. So ama doesn't present as such as ama. If it presents as utklesha, tatkroshte, samutklishte, kafa praye, chale male, there no medicine will work. You have to do vamana. In many of the Shirashola Adhikara, where they have this utklesha avastha, no medicine will work. We need to give hot water with salt and vomit it off. There is always Churnavasti in Amavata, which is not in the Koshta, but it goes to Shaka Marga and then it causes Utklesha. Then you have to do Churnavasti. Churnavasti will bring result far better than methotrexate. Okay, but provided they are not addicted to long durationally they have taken methotrexate. If the person is taking methotrexate, immunosuppressant for a very long period, our treatment can just only add on, give them some relief. But if they come to us earlier, we can give better results than methotrexate or with steroids. So treating is not the ama, treating is for this pathway and how it expresses. Now, what is dyslipidemia in Ayurveda? Do we have a term? We coin a term, of course. But do we have a term? Dyslipidemia is not a disease. It is an avastha. Dhatushu shlishtam. The same ama, if it becomes dhatushu shlishtam, means if it is in rakta, it gets one with the rakta. If it is in meda, it gets one with the meda. You can't separate them. So whenever there is a leena, what we are supposed to do? You give pachana dravyas. So if it is in rakta, what we see is, it is dyslipidemia. If it is in medas, what we see, bahu abaddam medo mamsam sharirajam cha kledam. Why I said kleda? Because what is dyslipidemia? How do you understand dyslipidemia? One term, will you be agreeing with my thing? Lipids are sneha? Yes? Okay. Lipid disorders are sneha vikara. So when you come to gunas, how the sneha causes vikara? Yasya dravyasya kledane shaktihi sa sneha. All those disorders which have kleda vikara also has this tendency to get dyslipidemia. What all the disease? Prameha is the first thing. You see practically also dyslipidemia always get associated with prameha. Thyroid is the SOFA is the second thing. In thyroid you always have dyslipidemia. In thyroid dyslipidemia you treat different way. In prameha dyslipidemia you treat different way. So that's why I said Varanadi will not work everywhere. What is the ground which is causing dyslipidemia? Where it is causing? It depending on that, we treat the disease. In thyroid, you need not treat dyslipidemia. You treat thyroid, it will come down by itself. So, AMA, etc. is just base now. From AMA, it transforms. That is there explained in the text very well. So, we have to go and read how this transformation occurs. And the treatment should be done accordingly. If it is a Gambhira Vyadhi, treatment will take a longer time. I said to understand what is Brusha. Brusha, we don't treat much. Vata Vyadhi, Brusha conditions we don't treat much, of course, but there are certain things which present as Brusha. Dosha, Avastha, which presents as Brusha, we have treatment. Vyadhi, which are Brusha, Vyadhis which are Brusha is not treated by us. That is emergency conditions. But Dosha Avasthas which are Brusha, we can treat it. Please.
Ma'am, it was a very eye-opening. It felt like I'm in a Kaya Chikitsa class, like that.
Thank you.
Ma'am, in the clinical practice, I came across one patient who was in her 4th day of period, and she had lifted heavy weights, and suddenly there was a stroke happening in her. And which is helping in the visual sensory.
Loss of sight also. Affecting the sight.
Yes,
affecting the
yes,
sight.
ma'am. And she was taken to hospital and given what parameters they do for stroke they had given. So now at present she is in the Levipil and she is having visual.
You have to go for an MRI, rule out multiple sclerosis. The condition which here, Utrikta Pitta Davatu Daha Moha Mada then it causes Mada. Davatu. What is Davatu? Indriya Vaikalya of Drishti. Davatu is the main symptom there. So if you treat like the Kapita Jwara, you can give Drakshadi Kashaya, Guluchadi Kashaya, but before that, rule out multiple sclerosis.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, here what diagnosis, whether Udavartam is happening,
No.
what diagnosis?
That's what I said, Pitta Jwara.
Pitta Jwara.
Pitta Jwara, which is leading, causing to Davatu.
Thank you.
Done? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pavana ma'am, for that insightful and thought-provoking session on COSTA, a clinical perspective. Your depth of knowledge and clarity in presenting complex concepts have truly enriched us all.
Now, I would like to invite Dr. G.K. Tara Jayashree, Medical Superint AVCRI, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good noon all. It's my real honor and privilege to deliver the vote of thanks in this momentous occasion. First and foremost, I'd like to express my heartful gratitude to our founders who has laid a strong foundation on which AVP stands today. Warm thanks for our special guests and speakers who has graced us with their presence and inspiring thoughts. And to the leadership team and the management, thanks. Without your support, we are nothing. To the performance, organizers, and the speakers, you have really inspired us, and every second of this event has turned out really very special. And to all my colleagues, alumni, speakers, members of AVP, past and present, a warm thanks for your gracious presence. Let's carry this like spirit of the day with this pride and legacy with much more inspiring events to come. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. A year gone by, another set of 365 days down the memory lane. As always, we are signing off with the promise of another glorious year of Ayurveda, where every single soul of AVP is committed to uplifting the spirit and essence of true Ayurveda. Thank you everyone for your kind participation. See you soon at IUQuiz 2025. Thank you. I request all of you to please stay here for 5 minutes.